welcome to Strength Hammer Podcast, episode 109. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Uh,
Lovely baby.
Alex has his pump cover on.
Representing.
Yep. All good, all good. How are you this morning, Alex?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful morning. It's so sunny, and I'm excited to spend some time outside today.
Yeah, we're over by where Alex and I live. We're entering that true autumn territory where we wake up, the
Yes.
mornings are kind of crisp. The days are still kind of hot on occasion, but
Yes.
I love when I wake up and it's that autumn morning and there's that fog
hmm
out there. I'm
And the
like,
freshness in the air is just
yeah,
like,
I'm like,
so cozy.
screw everything else. I'm drinking my coffee outside.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. It's favorite season for a reason. Is fall your favorite season?
No, I like summer.
Really? I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
to
Oh wow.
be fair, I love all seasons, so I enjoy
Okay,
all of them as they come. But
that's
I
fair.
just like summer because I like the growth. I like the gardening. Um, I like the sunny days. I like the really intense thunderstorms. Like, don't get me wrong, I
Yeah,
love winter too. A cozy
sure.
blizzard, staying inside. Autumn, rain, fall. Yeah, I love it. But
Yeah.
um, and to be
I
fair,
know the
like,
real reason you like summer.
what was that?
Lawn cutting.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess how is your lawn doing,
Hey,
Alex?
my lawn has not had to be cut since last time I cut it. I mean,
Oh,
we're definitely entering the fall times, and it's growing at a very slow rate. So I'm like,
mm-hmm.
I might not need to cut my lawn again. This is pretty weird.
No, you'll have to do one more.
Yeah, there's
It's
definitely gonna be one
it's
more.
it's you have to do the last one you do needs to be as close to Thanksgiving as possible
That's true.
because it
That's
makes
true.
your spring so much better.
That's fair. That's fair. So it's probably at least one more in the books there.
You,
But yeah, it's been very nice to have the extra hour and a half every week
mm-hmm.
to most weeks, I should say, to not have to cut the lawn.
That's fair. That's fair. That's good. I'm glad it's going well.
hmm
My lawn, I cut it. Actually, I did an Instagram story. I think the day after, or maybe it was like the same day, but after we recorded the podcast. Um,
hmm
so I realized my neighbors on my one side, they're wonderful folks. They got married recently and they had end up having twins. Now their house is slightly
Ah,
smaller than mine, and me and my wife are comfortable, but we don't have any kids. So they clearly needed to find a new place. So they fixed up their house. It's up for sale. And I was like, they did an open house the next day. I'm like, I should probably cut the lawn.
that's nice. That was nice of you
Yeah.
to do.
Well, I mean, I
I
want to
love that.
welcome in good neighbors. I want to help them sell their house because they listed it for almost twice as much what I bought my house for. So if they sell that, my house value goes up.
That's you know what a very good point. A very good
Yeah.
point.
But
I don't think would you ever sell? I feel like you're in a pretty good spot.
yeah, no, I wife and I are really comfortable where we're at. If we went anywhere else, it would still probably be around the area we live in
Sure.
now, but it would
Yeah.
be with more land and farther away from people.
I see what you mean. I see what you
Not that
mean.
I'm next
But
to
you're in a
bad
really good spot.
people. Yeah, it's a
Right.
good
Right.
spot. And to be fair, I'd
Mhm.
probably end up keeping this house, and well, and because I pay this house off, keep it, get another one, and then eventually give this one to my niece or something. Just
I see. That'll be cool.
yeah,
That'll be very cool.
but that's
I love
still a lot of debt away.
it. Right.
Working
Fair
on
enough.
it, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
If you guys ever, if you want to know whenever Chuck over here becomes debt free, we'll wait till he's doing streaming and videos nonstop because he's got nothing else to do.
Uh, that'll be good to see.
It will be
Just a
fun.
bunch more Warhammer, even more Warhammer content.
Yeah, and maybe live streams at the gym.
Wow.
No, I don't know if our local
No,
YMCA will let that.
I don't see you being the person who live streams at the gym.
I can't. I'm not. I
Yeah,
barely take videos of myself actually working out. I just take the pre and post pictures. The pictures of me working out is because Alex takes it because he's kind and
that's right.
he works out with me. Um, okay, well, okay. I'm glad the lawn is going well for both of us. He's like you. Like I might have. I'm predicting 3 more cuts.
Really?
Yeah.
Your lawn must grow at a faster rate than mine, because like
Um,
I don't know what last time I had to cut it. Probably was a couple weeks
maybe.
ago. 'Cause I was gonna cut it last week, and I'm like, it looks great, so I just didn't cut it.
Well, I'll cut it before the big holiday event or in October here for
Sure,
sure.
that's true.
I'll cut it sometime early to mid-November potentially. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
that's
two.
true.
There might be a third one, but there's at least two
Yeah,
for me, I think.
that's fair. That's fair. I think two more is definitely a good minimal guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
fair enough.
cool, awesome.
I'm glad we have this talk every week.
I
It's
am
very important to my heart.
I am
I'm not
too.
even kidding.
Well, it's funny. Neil likes talking about it, and folks, out there, let us know because I've seen people chat about it on our comments a few times. I know there's not, we don't have millions of listeners and stuff, but those of you out there,
Yet.
you seem to really enjoy our shenanigans, so thank you. And if you enjoy the lawn talk, let us know. And if you'd like, maybe I should do this. I should do like a Warhammer themed lawn shirt or something on the store that I always forget that I have shirts on. But by the way, there's merch.
Hey,
Some of it's
go
fun.
to
Some of it's
strengthhammer.com, or where is it?
actually there's always links in the bottom of this show. If you go
Rarely.
strengthhammer.net, you can also find a link through there. So
Yeah.
um,
Double Turn Me Daddy is a
that's a
classic.
popular one. I do like there's there's like a Space Marine and a Stormcast gym one that I themed that were kind of neat. I
Nice.
always forget to buy it for myself. That's my problem.
That's
I don't
funny.
spruik my own merch because I don't remember to buy it for myself. But
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I enjoy making the shirts. I think more than I care about selling them.
You watch. We're going to be consistent with content. We're going to talk about lawns, Warhammer, and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
And like 3 years from now, I have a vision where this would be like the content people will be looking for every week to lawns, Warhammer, and fitness.
That would be an ideal dream. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But with the lawn talk out of the way this week, Alex, you had
Yes.
a good idea for the topic that kind of ties
Yes.
into the main show a little bit. So, what are we
Absolutely.
talking about today? What's our plan?
Well, our plan. So there's this new game that came out. I'm not sure if you heard it. It's kind of a small indie game.
Hmm.
That Games Workshop surprisingly gave them the IP to use Warhammer. And yeah, it's called Space Marine 2. Apparently, they made the first one a while ago too. It wasn't that great, but yeah, this one is doing really well.
Oh, I heard of that, but I thought it was titled Thick Boy Ultramarine Simulator.
I think that's the alternative name. Yeah,
Gotcha,
that's the one that
gotcha.
originally were going to go with, but then didn't quite attract the right audience.
Ah,
It's
that's
just too
fair.
much gym bros.
Listen, man. Titus has got a booty on him. All right, he
He
squats.
does.
He
He
squats.
definitely does. He does everything.
He does.
He squats, he overhead presses, he bench presses, he
Yeah.
deadlifts.
Actually, and if anyone out there doesn't know, like Space Marines actually do have to work out. Like they do work out in their off time. So like they're not just full of all the most wonderful space drugs mankind has ever
Hmm.
invented. They have to work out to maintain it. So even in the far future where there's only war, there's still
There's
there's
still gym.
there's still some guy, some space marine. I'm gonna say it's
uh,
probably a Raven Guard curling in the squat rack. All right, calling Raven Guard
Perfect.
people out.
That's okay. I mean,
But
he's probably curling like 400 pounds, so it's okay.
yeah, probably at least to
Yeah,
warm up.
at least
But
with one hand.
yes, as you said,
uh,
Space Marine 2 came out. It's a
yes,
wonderful game. We'll talk.
everywhere,
We'll talk.
all over my feed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I had a few memes I put out about it. I enjoyed it. I loved one.
Yeah.
Played the crap out of it on PS3. Obviously picked it up on Steam to play through it again, and picked up Space Marine 2. Actually, and actually just as I guess a little FYI, whenever we switch over to the other crew that I got gathered today to talk about Space Marine 2, there will be spoiler talk. So just as a keeping warning, but not in this section because we're here about getting you fit and healthy.
Very true.
So,
Very true.
with the spectacular game Space Marine 2 out, Alex, what are we talking about?
We are talking about how to be built like a space marine.
All right.
Outside of getting a second heart and multiple
Yeah,
organs and space juice, space trend,
Space
outside of
Train.
that,
And
yeah, yeah,
yeah, yep, you're right. Yep.
yeah,
We
and I'm not having to undergo Primaris, Rubicon surgery, and
or any
all
surgery.
that
That's
good
a
stuff.
lot of surgery.
Any surgery, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Surgeries are not that common in true like bodybuilding, so I'm
well,
surprised we haven't got there yet.
the only surgeries that really happen are I tore my bicep.
Like recovery,
Yeah,
recovery.
yeah.
It's funny how like you'll see those people who will insert implants, like chest implants or ab implants, and they just look
Oh
so
yeah,
fake,
it
right? It's
does.
just it does not look real at all.
It does. And it's like the thing is too. It's like I kind of it's weird. Like I don't see bodybuilders doing it. I see some models doing it, but
Yeah,
also I mean I don't know that industry, and that might be just what they have to do. But
sure, maybe. Who
I
knows? But it
listen.
just it looks to a trained eye, to even like an intermediate eye, it's so obvious,
Yeah,
right? Like
I
they're not fooling anybody.
well, Alex, you and I are the type where I would rather look like I bench 150 pounds and bench 250 than look like I bench 350 and only bench 150.
Absolutely. It's so funny you say that because at the recently I started teaching at college and I was going to the college gym
Mm-hmm.
and I was kind of at the peak of my cut, just started to bulk,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you just start to bulk after the cut, you still retain most of the leanness,
Yep.
but now your muscle bellies are full because you're now eating lots again, eating carbs and all that. So I was looking like jacked to the T's, right?
Yep.
Like I had my tank top on, good pump, and I was benching, and the guy's like, "I thought you could do way more than that." I'm like, "Oh no, what am I becoming?"
Oh,
It was kind of sad, but also kind of felt good, but kind of sad.
yeah, it's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
I had a moment in the gym yesterday. There's just a really like he was like 6'6". He wasn't like
Hmm,
he was fit, but he wasn't like super jacked. And he was benching, and I think he was doing 285
that's
for
wild.
reps of two. Which I mean, hey, we'll get there, Alex. You're almost there.
I think I did for one before.
Did you
That's my
get okay?
max.
Yeah, I
I'm
forget
pretty
what we.
sure.
I think 265 is what I got.
Hmm.
Which you were yeah, you had to be at least 20 over because you're crushing the bench on it. But he comes over, he's just like, out of all the people in the weight room, I'm squatting. He's just like, hey, you look like you could actually save me. I want to go try this for two. Can you come spot me? I'm like, yeah.
That's awesome.
I felt
That's
good.
great.
I was like, I no, I can't bench what you're benching, but I could probably hold it for a minute to get you
Oh
out.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It does feel good when a strong or a big guy at the gym asks you to spot him on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh yeah, I could save you. That feels nice.
Yeah, I can help. And then yeah,
I can try.
he got it for two.
That's
Um,
sweet.
he even set up. He's like, my butt came off on the second one. I was like, it did a little bit. That's all right.
Still impressive.
It's oh yeah, it's still impressive.
Yeah.
Because there was not much struggle. He probably could have done more. But anyway, talking about other
So
people at the gym.
since we're talking about training, I would say, how to embody your inner space marine, how to train like a space marine, how to be buff like as a space marine, right? With what we can actually do in real life. So I would say the first thing for me, hands down, has to be train, right? Train hard, train consistently. As we talked about many times before, train with good form, train close to failure, because that's where most of the growth happens, and get stronger over time.
Yes,
Do
absolutely.
those three things, regardless of what you do. If you do bodybuilding style, or there's more nuance if you're doing powerlifting, but if you're doing whatever program, push pull, full body, Arnold style, if your goal is to build muscle and get stronger, train consistently, train hard.
I would say too, as if especially if you're thinking about like how can I be like a space marine, don't forget to they can run for days. I know they have two hearts, but
I see. Yes.
don't neglect your cardio no matter how much muscle you're putting on. And two, especially after playing Space Marine 2, there's definitely a focus for them on functional fitness. Like they're big and strong.
Athleticism.
Yeah, so you want to make sure you I don't know, mix in some CrossFit style stuff or some strongman style
Hmm.
stuff, like picking up something heavy that might be slightly awkward, not to hurt yourself, obviously, but just to be able to
Yeah, I love that
do it.
idea.
Yeah, like stone lifting.
Maces,
Yeah,
clubs.
have
Yeah.
some functional fitness mixed in with the other stuff, especially if you're focusing on a Space Marine style. But yeah, that you have to train.
You have to train appropriately, train hard, good form. But yeah, very good point, because they look like bodybuilders,
Hmm.
but they definitely lift very functionally and they're very athletic.
Yeah,
It's
and
almost like the peak of human performance.
it's actually really funny. What there's one animation where he has to kick down a pile of rocks. You do it like 3 or 4 times, and it's
Hmm.
satisfying. But there's another one where he picks up a big rock, and like he goes from one side like a like a like a bazooka deadlift, pulls it up on one, catches it with both hands, catches it in the squat, and then pushes it over. And I'm just like, that's good form. That's real good
Of
form.
course he
Like it's the
does. Of
first
course
thing
he
I
does.
noticed.
Yeah, they did their which is like, you cannot train, you cannot execute it with good form if you don't train,
Exactly.
right? So even that shows the Space Marine is trained.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right on.
I think the next thing that I'm gonna bring up is man, Space Marines have it good with their amazing whatever's going on in the digestive system, but you need to make sure that your eating is
Yeah,
completely on point. Now in Space Marines, there is only ever two things well, technically I've seen them in the Horse Heresy eat normal food for
sure.
like a meal, like betrayal calf and that sort of stuff, but like
Hmm.
they're doing
Hmm.
it more symbolic. They don't need to eat
Sure.
delicious food. They
Absolutely.
don't care.
Right.
I mean, maybe the Thousand Sons do, and or not Thousand Sons, Emperor's Children.
Space Wolves probably feast, right?
Space Wolves feast.
They're
Space Wolves care about
feast.
their feast a lot.
Yeah.
Most other Space Marines outside, really, actually, that you're right. Outside of those two, which like they're and like the space wolves are doing you know meat and potatoes and
Right.
mead, which is their alcohol.
Like they can actually get drunk. Yeah.
Yeah, well they try. That's the goal. They will because they space marines can metabolize alcohol faster than it can
Right.
affect them.
Right. Right. Right.
So their competitions for the space wolves is how who can drink the most the quickest, so they actually get drunk,
Right. Right. Right.
which
Which is
is
pretty amazing.
yeah, it's
What do you remember? Because I mean, I think I've only read it once. But what's their? Is it Miad? Is what
mead.
it's called?
Yeah, mead.
Miad. That's right. Because
I,
like it would kill a human, right?
yeah, it would
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
just
Right.
burn through
Right.
your insides.
Right. Right.
It's so
Right. That's
alcoholic.
awesome.
But other than that, normal Space Marine chapters that don't care about this sort of stuff, or I've not seen anyone write in a way that makes them care about it. There's two things. They have like a I wouldn't call it a mead drink, but like there's like a thick viscous liquid that they
Hmm.
drink,
Hmm.
um, which it wasn't really described what was in it. It's which is more of like they just drink it. Like it's probably like tons of electrolytes and all
Sure.
that sort of stuff. But essentially, they'll eat just a protein brick. It's
Hmm.
just compressed protein in a brick that probably is almost as hard as a brick, but that's what they chow down on. Like whenever they
Right.
need to put calories in, which now outside and those things have to be very calorically dense because
I'm sure.
we don't see Space Marines eat too often.
Not very often.
We're
No.
assuming they are,
Right.
but
Because they're still human.
they're
They're
still
just
yeah,
very much superhuman, but
right.
they
So
still have digestive tracts.
right. So what the trend here with all these different Space Marines, no matter what they're eating, feasting like Space Wolves or not, is protein. So the big thing is like make sure you hit your protein goals. And Alex, do you want to remind everybody what a good protein goal is, maybe for a beginner and an
Yes.
advanced?
Sure, sure. If you are a beginner and you've never tracked protein before, you're just looking to get started, a good place to start is to keep it simple, aim for a gram per pound of body weight. If you're a beginner and you're
Well,
just looking for simple,
gram per pound of body weight for the weight that you want to be potentially. If you're coming down, if you're trying to bulk, obviously it's different. But like
that's what I recommend if you want to make it the next level. I
yeah,
would say if you are a total beginner and you don't know what you're doing and you're like just barely started, just simple formula gram per pound of body weight. Now, if you want to take it further and be more precise, you're looking for zero point 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of desired body weight.
right. Well, the only
That
reason I say that the desired is maybe one per lean mass, because if you're someone who's maybe 300 pounds, you're trying to lose weight, you don't want to eat 300 grams of protein.
right.
So
Well,
like
exactly.
it's
Yeah.
different if depending on where you're at on the scale, if you're trying to
Yeah.
lose
Yeah.
weight or gain weight. Let's
Yeah.
yeah, for this purpose, I think we're assuming the gain weight or yeah, gain weight style, which is easy math is a gram per body
Right.
weight. And like I said,
Easy, easy, easy math, gram per pound of body weight.
but don't
But
beat
the
yourself up
best math,
if you don't get it. Yeah.
exactly, exactly, exactly. But the best math is whatever your goal is, whatever you want to achieve. So if you're 100 pounds, you want 120 pounds. Let's say you want to be 140, aim for 140, right? And if you are 200 pounds, you want to be 180. Calculate per 180, right? And then you use that and you multiply it by zero point 0.7 to 1 grams, and that's your protein range you want to shoot for, at least that number.
Hmm.
Which, by the way, if you eat a little more than that, not a big deal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like very, very little potential risks for too much protein outside of like ludicrously ridiculous amount that no real person would actually eat.
Right. Now, Space Marines aren't tracking their calories. But you know who is? Probably the departments that create all that food
That's
and
fair.
stuff.
That's
So
fair.
so I bet
That's a good.
so I
That's a
bet
good point. Yep.
I bet well, Space Marines aren't cared. They're given food.
Uh huh.
Someone's tracking it for them to make sure that
Somebody
they
is.
maintain. So I could recommend you could get into some tracking some calories
Mhm.
because obviously calories in, calories out. It's how you're going to grow
Mhm.
and lose. So maybe consider that. We do have prior episodes where we talked about that, but just reach out to Alex. He'll teach you.
Sure. Let's. I mean, that's actually something valuable to cover because proteins are, for the most part, universal.
Yeah.
You can make an argument that in a deficit you could increase your protein needs a little bit,
Hmm.
but we don't have to go there too much. But protein needs are pretty much the same, right? You don't have to change them. You really don't have to change them if you're trying to maintain, gain, or lose, as long as the focus is building muscle.
Yeah.
But uh, let's say somebody does find out their maintenance. What kind of calorie deficit would you recommend them if they're trying to lose weight?
If you're trying to lose weight, I'd start for the first 2 weeks. Drop 100 calories off, and then
Okay.
and then To be fair, I've never felt great dropping more than 200 calories off my maintenance for any extended period
Okay.
of time, just because
Okay.
I get hangry, and it's not fun for me or sometimes the people around me as I'm snappy for no reason. So
Hmm.
you could, what would you say would be a safe way to do it? So like maybe I say first 2 weeks, drop 100 calories off maintenance, and then maybe for another 2 to 3 weeks after that, drop 200. See where you're sitting on the scale after that.
Yeah. So I think regardless of what you're doing, you got to drop your calories if you're trying to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a lot of excess fat and this is in context of like a healthy metabolism, you're not like maintaining at 1200 calories, something ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk in context of something who does have a relatively healthy metabolism,
Right. Right.
relatively moderate to high. What I personally do is I actually recommend they drop by 500 right away,
Oh, okay.
right?
Okay.
Because we are talking about people who have some weight to lose, right? So drop by about 500, and then continue dropping another 100 calories until you get to a point where you feel relatively comfortable, and you can sustain it for at least like 6 weeks is what I recommend.
Now, would
Um,
I
Go ahead.
never I'm curious about this because for me, who wants to drop less calories, I usually supplement with moving more
You
because
can
because
absolutely, yes.
mentally my brain handles that better than dropping more calories.
So yes, that
So
is a
so
good option. So
okay,
regardless,
okay. I was just
what you want
curious.
to create is about the the funny thing is so technically 500 calorie deficit will lead to a pound of fat loss per week, technically,
Yeah.
but in reality, because your body does have a pretty strong adaptogenic response, you actually want to have closer to a 6 to 700 calorie deficit if you're trying to lose a pound of fat per week. Now, to your point, how you get to that deficit, you could definitely combine extra calories burned on top
Yeah.
of your regular activity and food. So if you want to get into a 400 calorie deficit and then intentionally burn 300 calories extra on top of what you usually burn for the day, that totally works.
Okay.
Okay, I don't prefer that. I
Yeah.
just prefer eating less, and if I happen to be moving more, that's even extra calories burned.
Right.
Um, but that totally works. What you said, it's totally makes sense.
Right. And like I said, that's where you reach out to someone like Alex, who's a nutritionist, to help with that sort of stuff. Because like I did it by feel for a while,
Hmm.
and then Alex helped me with more of the protein aspect where I kept missing the mark on. But yeah, that's where I've just realized that like if I'm not eating enough, I feel hangry and it's not fun doing anything. But if I'm eating enough and moving more, even though I've essentially raised my what I need to maintain, which I'm well below it now,
Exactly.
it tricks my brain into not being hangry because it's still getting the same amount of food. So all the brain stomach thing is fine. So
Yes, and that's where individuality takes it's so important,
yeah,
right? Because what we give is general advice, but I mean, theoretically, you could like continue eating at calorie maintenance and just increase how many calories you burn for the day.
yeah. Because like if you're not losing any weight but you're not exercising, if you start exercising, yeah, it's good. It's like immediate.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, what happens when let's say we have somebody who's trying to put on muscle and maybe not trying to gain like a whole lot of fat while doing so, or maybe even maintain. What would you recommend? How many calories above maintenance would you recommend?
Boy, that kind of goes into like when we talked about lean bulking versus the dirty bulk. Um, I think the most I've ever eaten in surplus actually was probably around 500, but like I said, I kind of did dirty bulk.
Yeah.
Um, maybe around, I'd say at least 300 because I always feel like it's hard. It is harder to gain the mass you want, like the muscle mass. It feels so much easier to lose it than it does to gain it. The muscle mass, at least.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
especially depending. So, yes, I would say 300 calories is exactly right,
Okay.
unless you are a total beginner, right? Because your capacity to build muscle as a beginner, which is so frustrating because we're no longer beginners,
Yeah,
obviously,
we don't get the
but your
newbie gains
capacity,
anymore.
but the capacity to build muscle in the first year and two of training is like almost quadruple, triple to quadruple the rates of somebody who's intermediate,
Hmm.
and like almost 8 times somebody who is advanced,
Yeah.
which is wild. All right, so like if when you're advanced you can gain like 2 pounds, 2 3 pounds of muscle mass per year,
It's a
somebody who's a beginner can build upwards, which is great,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
It's a fantastic. Like I said, I'm happy with like a pound to a pound and a half per year. Would be
Right, exactly, exactly.
fantastic for my world.
uh, but somebody who's a beginner could literally put on upwards of 20 pounds in a year.
Yeah.
Now that's a very high number. You would relatively good genetics, but it's wild to put 20 pounds in a year, right?
Yeah.
And I see it all the time. People who are newbies who train consistently, do everything right away.
Well, even
So to
even
that,
look, I should have added, 'cause I didn't realize we get to this topic specifically on this, but we should maybe bring pictures of ourselves. Like I have a couple pictures where it's before I was really doing anything,
hmm
where
yeah,
I was bulking, and then where I leaned down. It's just like it's like you get like pictures year by year. Because like I ran into somebody. I went to the Highland Games this past weekend, um, and I ran into someone I haven't seen in probably about 4 years. And it's just like, oh, Jesse. And I walked over, said hi to him, and he's just like, you're massive. I'm like, oh, thank you. But like, I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't seen you since I was not working out.
right,
So it's, or I guess it's been more than 4 years then,
yeah.
more like 8 now. But
Wow, that's a lot. I mean, definitely a lot can change. Yeah, it would
yeah,
be. I think it is a good. We should do it on a podcast where we just like post our pictures
yeah,
and just talk about our journeys
yeah, that'd be
and where we
fun.
are now.
That'd be fun. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, but continue with your
But
thought.
I mean, I totally agree. I would say definitely for intermediate to advanced, I would say 300 calorie surplus is right, like right on the money,
Okay,
right? Maybe a little less if you're advanced because you really can't build that much. Maybe it drops to about 200 then. But yeah, intermediate, I would say where we are at is about 300. But if you are a beginner and your body just wants to put on muscle, go higher, right? Give 500, give 600.
yeah,
If your body is able, if you notice your body really wants to put on muscle, and you feel like you're actually inhibiting how much you can grow by eating in too low of a surplus.
yeah.
But outside of beginners, as intermediates, I think 200, 300 is very, very appropriate.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because like I said, I did on the dirty bulk. I did, I think, probably up to 500, 600. But like,
hmm
how much of that calorie was actually useful, or how much of it was like carbs and sugars, and
Right, right.
yeah.
And
So
also, we're talking in context of like training really hard and sleeping really well and doing everything appropriately.
yeah,
If those things are not optimized, you're probably better off doing smaller kind of surplus, like 200 to 300.
gotcha. Well, I mean, maybe the last point we can talk about then, as you just mentioned it, there is sleep.
It's so funny. I literally wrote down the notes, and it's like workouts, nutrition, and recovery.
Yeah,
And
it's
like you brought up two of those points. I'm glad we're on the same wavelength.
well, it's to be fair, we were talking about this before because like you kind of notice like as you put out fitness things you want to talk about, like you start talking about the same things because this is what works. Like
That's
everybody
what
out
it
there, it's
takes.
not a secret. Like
It's
go
not rocket science.
like obviously like nutritionist Alex, like he went to school and educated, but like I watched people who were fun on YouTube and got the basics of this. You can
Yeah,
too. Like it
absolutely.
and doesn't have to be us. It's like I'm saying, like we
Mhm.
we talk about it a little bit here, but um yeah, like it's all out there and it's very easy. You need to eat well, you need to get some sleep, and you need to train your body. You do those three things consistently. Welcome to the club. That's
Exactly. You will see progress. Like I hate when you see those like people on Instagram and like the influencers who make it so gimmicky. Like, here's the new way, will revolutionize your way you live, and here's the new diet. Like, no, no, no.
mm-mm.
Principles always stay the same.
Yeah.
The application is very individual, and I think there is definitely nuance there.
Right.
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 That's why there's people who are trainers and coaches and dietitians um, to help people out individually. The principles are literally the same for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So.
Including Space Marines. Now,
Including Space Marines. Now,
I
yes,
say
talk about Space Marines and sleep.
so. Space Marines are a little bit different on sleep. They actually get some sleep? Yes, and actually we see it in Space Marine too. There's a couple times where Captain Kite, well, not Captain, but Titus, um, uh, takes a little nappy nap and wakes up. Um, usually after an injury, but you
Right,
need to
right.
recover after an injury. But Space Marines have I forget what the organ is called, but essentially they can turn half their brain off to sleep, kind of like dolphins.
That's right.
So
That's right.
they don't like to do that, but they do it whenever they're on mission because they have to. And I
hmm
think it's even been described too. Like even when they're doing that, like they're not as peak performance because that
hmm
half that brain is off. So like it's not necessarily a safe thing to do, but they do it when they absolutely have to, like this side of sleep and do that. But that said, the way I like that was written is they can do that when they have to do that.
hmm
They still think it's not ideal than just regular sleep.
Space Marines still understand the importance of sleep.
Yes, which sleep is where you grow and where you repair. And
Exactly.
who's breaking their body down more than a space marine fighting off world against the biggest horrors the galaxy has ever seen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you made a good point, Chuck. If you want to answer this question, do you build any muscle at the gym?
No, no, you ruin your muscle at the gym. You tear it down.
Exactly. So building happens to literally everywhere else outside the gym, right?
Yes,
So
and
you
and
break down
and
muscle.
and the building blocks is that nutrition we talked about. So you go to the gym to break down your body, and your body goes, oh, I need to be repair these. Oh, thanks for the protein, bro. Go to sleep so I can build them stronger. So next time you go, you're good to go.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, right on. So exactly, you break down tissue, you give yourself the nutrients you need to recover it, and then you recover it.
Yep.
Right?
And now here's the sleep because like it's fascinating because like you know what I always like about whenever you and I have discussions too like this is we there's the three thing that's the three things
Mm-hmm.
we like like there's a couple things I'm good at and a couple things you're good at like we I think we both go to the gym regularly enough that's fine,
Yes.
that's key.
Yes.
You're obviously much better on nutrition than I am typically, but I think I'm much better on sleep typically, not always, like it will
Yes, you
rotate here and
are.
there,
Yes, you are.
but someone who's very busy, who isn't settled down and married in life, who has to go out and hustle. How do you manage your sleep? Because like you're working hard in the gym, you're providing the nutrients, but like how do you
Mhm.
rest? And like what types of rest do you have? I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something like you said is that I have to be very intentional with. And if I'm not intentional and transparent and or accountable to people like you or my friends with, it will get away from me, right? So what I intentionally try to do is I try to go to bed and wake up at the same time as much as I can,
Yep.
right? So your body does have a thing called circadian rhythm where it adapts to a sleep response. So it likes to go to sleep, release the hormones, lower certain hormones, increase certain hormones when you're going to bed, and it likes to do so around the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with waking up. So if you go to bed and wake up at the same time, that's fantastic. The also another very important thing is literally allowing yourself enough sleep. It
Yep.
sounds silly, right? But if you go to bed, if you need to wake up at 7 a.m., don't be foolish and don't try to go to bed at 1 a.m.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So like if you know you need to wake up at 7 the next day, don't feel like, oh well, I have enough time to sleep. Like, no, no, no. Intentionally, if you need to wake up at 7, give yourself at least 7 to 8 hours. So it means you need to be asleep, close to 11 or 12.
Right. And much like food tracking, if you use a sleep tracker, which I use, and
Sure.
it has improved my sleep even more so,
Sure.
um, it will tell you like I usually take about 45 minutes to fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, interesting. Okay.
yeah, it's pretty consistent on the tracker. So I have to kind of account for that. Like, okay, I need to get this much sleep, So I'll go to bed 45 minutes before I actually want to be asleep, just to kind of get in there. And I'll be there. Like I'll maybe have like TV on to watch like something as I kind of drift away, and then do that
Sure.
sort of stuff. So,
Sure.
um, but yeah, I can highly recommend sleep trackers. If you can find a good tool for one. And all enough, my favorite one's Pokemon Sleep with the little Poke thing. I should have brought it down, but it works.
They need a Warhammer sleep tracker where the chaplain just yells at you, "Get your rest, brother."
Well, actually,
Um,
Pikachu yells at you when it's time to go to bed, and if you're
that's
late, it
funny.
gets angry.
That's very very cute.
It
Much
is.
less cute than much more cute than a chaplain would be.
Yes, but yeah. Let's Warhammer. Please get us a Warhammer sleep tracker. It can be
Yes,
in a little Crux Terminus we can put underneath our pillow. That'd be amazing.
that'll be awesome. It's funny that actually we didn't even talk about that with the other three. The other two is you can track all those things,
That's true.
and
Yeah, you're right.
if you can, you should.
Yeah, absolutely. Like like I said, it's even me. Like I don't track my workouts, but I do the same workouts more or less every week.
Hmm.
Granted, I'm not doing any more like than what I normally do. Like I'm not having a harder work. Like I might have a slightly harder workout this day than this day, but like I'm still doing the same like 5 to 6 movements per workout.
Hmm.
So you know, and that's fine. But eventually, like I need to realize too, like, oh, this isn't really getting me anywhere, so let me switch it up. Which, like, that's where tracking helps.
Sure.
I might be like, oh, you know what? I've done lat pull downs for weeks. Why don't I just do some wide grip pull ups and mix
Yeah.
it up? And it's gonna affect things
Yep.
differently. So yeah, it's I'm bad at tracking my workouts because I just fall into my rhythm.
Yeah. No. Like I said, like all of this is about progress, not perfection,
Oh
right?
yeah,
but it is important to keep each other accountable, right? See, where you struggle maybe with, or not struggle, maybe not quite uh, as advanced or as diligent with nutrition, workout tracking, I may be nowhere near as diligent with sleep and rest,
Right.
right? And the stress management, right? Because like my stress management is definitely way worse than yours.
But
And stress, I mean, stress plays a huge role, right, in
absolutely,
recovery.
and here's the thing too. And maybe this is the last key point here that you just stumbled into. The one thing you're gonna notice in Space Marine is it's a brotherhood.
That's very true.
During the whole part of Space Marine 2, your two cohorts are trying to get you to talk. And
Hmm.
Titus just doesn't really want to because some things that happen, which we'll talk about in later podcasts. But eventually he opens up and he becomes better for it
Yes.
because they're holding each other accountable, respecting each other, So having that shared community, whether like I said, Titus had two other guys.
Yeah,
I have Alex and for like most of my fitness stuff. So look like even that's enough. Like, but you don't need to have
absolutely.
a huge circle. You just need one
Absolutely.
to two other people to help keep you accountable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you nailed it right in the head.
Yep. So form that brotherhood, um, or sisterhood, whatever you want. Doesn't matter. Just have fun.
Yep. Absolutely.
Find someone that keeps you accountable and is on the same journey with you. Um,
Absolutely.
and like at least even or support you on the journey. Like my wife works out with me twice a week. She does her own thing, but
Hmm.
she helps me with accountability on the nutrition end.
Hmm.
Like, we her and I are both like, and it's been kind of hard. We've cut out sugar mostly. Like
Wow.
unless it's from fruits.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
Um, boy, do I want a candy bar really freaking bad right now. Um, but yeah, unless it's fruits, we've cut out sugar right now to try and just like eliminate it. Um,
Hmm.
and kind of shed some of the weight because like that's probably where it's coming from because I lost a little bit because like I downgraded on like, okay, I'm not gonna drink as much alcohol now because it's just not serving my
Yeah.
purposes. So like the
Yeah.
sugar was the next step, and it helps her. She doesn't really drink at all, so for her it was sugar, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I probably have too much sugar too. So let's both focus on this. And I wouldn't say it, I wouldn't say we're. Well, I mean, she doesn't really do like cut. She's pretty good at maintaining, but like I wouldn't say I'm focusing it as a cut. I'm focusing on an elimination and getting past the cravings
Yeah.
because
It's more of
that
a
way,
mental thing.
yeah, that way when I decide that like, okay, maybe I should cut, it's easier because that big piece of craving, because I have a sweet tooth, is gone. But listen,
Absolutely.
we're holding each other accountable to that, which is nice. So like don't feel like it has to be like you have to have your gym bros. Like I have my gym bro Alex. He'll keep me accountable on things, and I can reach out anytime. But my wife will keep me accountable on other things too.
Yeah. And very true. And somebody who's worked with hundreds of people, people who see the least success, right? Maybe I'll also say people who struggle the most are people who don't have people in their corner.
Yeah.
People who don't have a support group or a community they can encourage them. Because alone, at some point you're gonna hit that low where like, is this even worth it? Am I seeing even any results? I mean, I know I've heard that I just need to stick to those and eventually the results will happen. But if you don't have the community to support you, if you don't have somebody to tell you no sometimes or to push you sometimes, it's gonna be very hard. Not impossible. So if
Mm-hmm.
you are alone, you can do it. But if you can find that community, find somebody in your corner to support you.
Yeah. And there's a lot of truth just in the simple statement of if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah,
That's and
that's very true.
fitness is not a fast journey.
Nope, nope. It's
Unless you have
never.
unlimited supply to trend and have zero side effects from it, then sure you have fun. But
Like, hey, Ronnie Coleman, Ronnie Coleman was a beast. Very little side effects
yeah, good for him.
from
But he had a group around him to support him.
he did move around him, support him,
He
very
didn't load
much
up
so.
the solid 800 ass pounds. All right, he had help with that because the brothers were there for him. So
Absolutely,
all
very good.
right. Well, that was fun. But let's shift gears. Have you had any hobby lately, Alex? I don't.
No,
Nope. Okay.
I was dreading
Alex
you asking this question.
Alex is
Uh,
suffering uh from learning what it means to be a teacher. I think. I'd see it's
yeah,
probably eating up a lot more of your time than you expected. I
it's
feel.
taking a lot more time than I'm expecting. Yeah, and I'm still trying to be. It's all about prioritization, right?
Yeah.
And as much as I hate to say it, like for me, priorities right now are the three jobs that I have:
Yeah.
working out, community, and sleep as much as I can,
Yeah.
right? And then we have Warhammer, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And right now I'm barely getting enough sleep, so until I do that, then I'll need to focus on Warhammer, and then I'll do other things.
Well, I mean that's the thing. Warhammer's always going to be there.
Oh, of course, of course.
But what the reason it's funny, the reason I figured you were busier specifically with that is because I see most of your stuff at that gym, not at the gym that you and I frequent together. So I'm
Yeah,
just
I've
like,
not been to our gym for I think weeks.
yeah, and it's like, and I know you're busy. Like I'm like, I want to work out, but I'm like, whenever you get time, like it's a
Sure,
semester, it'll be fine. We'll get
sure.
there. Um,
Very true.
but yeah, it's like it's funny how I've picked up on it because I'm just like, he's not posting pictures in this gym.
Yep, yep, yep.
Um,
Which it does have very good lighting at the gym we go to. So it's I've been working out primarily
it
at
does a good
the
lighting, yeah,
campus gym and Planet Fitness because it's so close to my house, like
yeah.
literally 3 minutes away. And Planet Fitness has just horrible lighting. It's just
Oh,
not
it's so
great.
bad. It is so bad.
Uh,
Well, that's fine. That's fine. What is your planned hobby that you, whenever you get back to it, what's your first thing you're gonna tackle?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm still I'm still working on those opposite minis, man.
Okay.
Still working on those. I have a lot of them, so it's not. I think it's 20 models I'm working at the same time,
Okay. Okay.
or around so. And I actually just got more. I think we talked last time. I got
Yep.
limited edition boxes on beside minis, so I wanna clean them up, base them, and prime them. But yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hmm.
Well, actually, I'll talk about my hobby briefly here since we're gonna switch right over to the Space Marine 2 spoiler cast.
Very good.
Um,
Yes.
I am almost done with my Bretonians.
Hey.
I'm working. I have 12 cavalry left and one Royal Pegasus with a prophetess on it. Um, the knights will probably be done in the next day or two, and the
Okay.
prophetess is going to be tackled probably Sunday and early part of next week because next Wednesday, which if you want to come out to it, Alex, the usual the barn as we call it, we're going to do a big fantasy game, old world game. So
Oh.
like it's just
Oh.
show up, put down whatever you want. We'll have a good time.
Okay.
So even if you just want
Okay.
to show up and see the spectacle of it, it'd be a fun time.
Yeah.
That's the plan. So I'm going to have this army ready by then.
That's awesome. I
So
love that.
yeah, I got a little deadline. I'm close to it anyway, so it won't be a stretch.
Are you gonna do like good versus evil sort of
I
thing? Is
think
that what
that's
you're
what they were
gonna?
talking about.
Okay,
Uh, Mark and then the other gentleman there, Evil Bob. Um, they're kind of planning it,
that's
and so
cool.
it's, I'm just gonna bring my Bretonian army because they'll be ready to go.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Are you gonna do a siege battle like with the castle?
I would assume. I
Yeah,
would
that's cool.
assume. Yeah,
When we did one with the Age of Sigmar, it was
it was
probably
so fun.
one of the highlights I've had of the gaming that year.
Yeah,
It was really fun.
we should do it again for Sigmar with the new edition just to see. But
Yeah, I love it.
other than that, future plans after that, which I'll probably talk about again. I'm trying to decide. So let me know in the comments what you think. I have some dwarfs to do,
Ah,
but I forgot to pick this up because I just got my arcane journal in for and index cards for or not index reference cards for Warriors of Chaos because I'm collecting them all. I'm not necessarily playing an
hmm,
army yet, but there was apparently a model I threw into the cart because it's one and I was like, oh yeah, I did buy this because one, it helped with the free shipping, and two, it's something I've always wanted ever since Old Fantasy because it just looks so cool. So I treated myself. I got a Chimera.
very nice.
So
Very cool.
I'm thinking this is next or the dwarfs.
Okay,
This will obviously be like a 3-day thing. So let me know what you think I should paint next in the comments because I don't want to make that decision.
very cool. I love it.
But okay. Well, with that said, we had this actually this would be funny. This might be a long podcast in total because we just went 43 minutes, Alex.
Whoa, look at that.
Yeah, yeah.
That
But
might be the longest one we've done.
yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
But we'll leave it here for the strength part of the hammer. So Alex, thank you for joining me again.
Always a pleasure, man.
Yep. And everybody else, hang on tight and see you on the other side where we're gonna talk some Space Marine 2 fun.
Have you ever done this before? You mean drop through an active combat zone, dodging flak, enemy ships and burning wreckage on the way down?
Exactly.
No, this will be a first.
The Codex Astartes does not support this action. But I am looking forward to it.
And we're back. Well, I'm back. And I have two fresh faces. That's right. This is a secret Big M's Power Hour. No one knew it till now.
Sorry
Welcome
that
back,
the
more hammers and more
episode
heavies.
yeah, yeah. The episode is now 3 hours long. Everyone
Well-
settle in.
So, because I recorded it before this, the fitness end that Alex and I recorded today was 40 minutes.
Whoa.
Jeez.
So we could push 4 here tonight, boys.
I don't even know how you
That'll
do
happen.
the pick stuff up, put stuff down, talk for that long, but good on you. That's-
Well, as I
Somebody
alluded
has
to
to.
prior, I have my stalwart brothers, defenders of the Imperium. The only two people that I know that I can get together to actually play a game of Space Marine and then be competent in it. Matt and Cole.
Oh yeah.
The competent thing is questionable at times,
It-
but
It's competent because we all are enjoying different parts, like
That's
for operations.
yeah.
But not to mention too, like you guys are very good. Like I was slightly behind both of you on the story for a while. You're like, no, you gave me no spoilers. It was great.
Well,
Again?
to be
Yeah.
fair, you did get
From
one
the-
spoiler.
I
That's
got one
because of the
spoiler.
mission.
That's not that wasn't our fault. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was spoiling Warhammer. Like, oh no, there's chaos. Which,
Right.
putting this out here now, everybody, I did before, but we're just going to talk about the game. So if you haven't played through it and you want to, just like and subscribe and leave.
There's the door.
Yeah.
Yep. Spoiler warning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to begin, the most all-important question of any Strength Hammer podcast, though.
Oh boy.
Let's start with Cole, because you'd be new to this one. How's your lawn?
Okay. How's my lawn?
Yeah.
It's doing fine. Actually,
Cool.
we've been getting a lot more rain over here in Ohio than you guys have in PA.
Mhm.
So I have a lot less brown than you guys do. The front of the house looks fine. The back, somebody didn't spend money on before I bought this house. Somebody obviously did at the front of the house. So that grass is very green and you can't kill it. But yeah, no, it's doing great.
Great.
Can't complain.
That's
Is
awesome.
that a dwarf shirt we got going on there, Cole?
Oh yeah, we got a Bugman
Bugman
shirt,
shirt.
right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, can I bring it up?
Yep,
there?
No,
yep.
yeah.
We got the
Nice.
better camera. We got the dwarf shirt. Are you just trying to get the show to come back, or are
This
you
is
just trying to
this
like?
is me petitioning to bring back Big M's Power Hour, but didn't tell him till now. It's okay.
It's a silent protest.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Matt, how's your lawn doing?
It's fine. It's looking good. It's crisp.
Crisp, nice. How many? Actually, here's a question. Alex and I were talking about this in the first part. I think I have 2 to 3, at least 2, no more than 3 cuts left this year. Where are you guys sitting on this? And the reason I say it on my end is because I have that big town festival, so I cut right before that, and I always cut as one last one as close to Thanksgiving as possible to make my spring easier. So it's at least 2, and I think I have a third one before both of those.
So let me preface this by saying I am the least psychotic of my neighbors.
Okay, you hear the mower
Because
and it's not
one-
a challenge. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay,
When I hear
all
the
right.
mower, it's not a challenge, and that's because Sue, just a corner from me. I know she'll never hear this, so it's okay. Every 4 days.
I want Sue to be a main character on this podcast now. We're gonna get Sue updates coming.
Every 4 days she mows. And she's the type of person that if there is a weed in the lawn, she is scooting along on her butt with weed killer in her hands, going around digging the weed up, putting the weed killer down, and then putting new seed down like a day or 2 after. That woman is
Wow.
retired and needs a hobby. And that because currently it is just the lawn.
Okay, she could garden and be useful in growing things as opposed to lawns, which are pretty much useless.
Yes, that is just, the
Yeah, that
French
sounds like an
this whole
opportunity.
idea. Yeah.
You need to drop off a GW starter set. You know, with like the 2 or 3 miniatures and the paint.
Hi, Sue. I think you're about 70 years old. Here you go. You have a new hobby now.
What if you start planting like random vegetables in her yard at night because they pop up? If she doesn't know it, she might be like, "Oh, there's a weed," and she'll start pulling it. But she might be like, "Why is there radishes growing? And why is there a
Goodness.
random onion over here?" It's
No.
You were on to you had the idea,
Yeah.
and then you sand through your fingers. What you
Mhm.
need is a fake weed that's actually like 20 feet long. So she just keeps pulling, it just keeps coming out like a
Oh, God. No.
Oh.
No, I'm not that bad. But to answer your actual question here, Chuck, you're probably about right. I'm thinking I have at least 4 because it's about once a week. We have a good rain coming through my way here this weekend,
we do too.
which will
yeah.
kickstart everything.
It's gonna hit us.
Yeah, it'll kickstart everything again because the way this summer has been, as dry as it's been, the moment it gets any moisture, we shoot up 4 inches overnight, it feels like. So I probably have 3 or 4 left. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And we'll see. The rain, basically every rain has skirted right around Pittsburgh every time. And so I'll say 2. You know what? Fuck it. Even if it gets long, 2. It's
2. Okay.
The hell with it. It's getting
Matt-
2.
It's 2 or die. There's no problem. Got it.
Well, no, it'll be a
Worst case
jungle
scenario.
next year.
Worst case scenario, I'll just go out with a hairdryer and a lighter, and we'll just take care of it the old-fashioned way.
There we go.
Just go buy some salt early. Just salt your earth, Matt. You're like, all
Yeah.
right, I'm cutting you twice
Oh my
and
gosh.
never again.
So there's a side of my house that I can't stop weeds from growing in it. I've actually Googled how do I salt the earth, and I mean, I assume you don't just use table salt. I assume that's not.
Why
It's
not?
just salt.
Is it just table salt?
Just
Yeah.
salt. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna salt the earth.
If you want to, you could get some of the salt that we use, like for getting the ice off of your drive.
Yeah,
and
rock salt.
grab a handful. Yeah.
Those are different
just-
types of salt.
Just dig it up a little bit. Put some of that down. Put the dirt back on top.
I have a hard
and
time
again-
believing that the Mongols actually digged up stuff. They probably. Just...
Like, churn it up.
Well, they probably
Ooh,
use.
do I need to get Himalayan pink salt? Is that?
I don't think that has something to do with it. No, I think the reason that the Mongols didn't dig anything up is they had all the horses to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stampede came by, did that. Yeah,
Just throw the salt down.
yeah, just throw it as you go. You lack the horse, so
If you had a horse, I mean,
yeah,
Mark can let you borrow a horse,
you
maybe.
could- I'm sure.
That's
I'm
true.
sure.
That's true. Speaking of horses, boom, boom, boom. Chaos Dwarf Watch. There's an update.
Speaking of horses, Chaos
We'll
Dwarf.
get all the Big M skits. Let's go.
Oh,
So we have 2 new pieces in. So now we know that they're going with a cog aesthetic, which I'm all about, and planned release date is 2025.
Mm.
they
This has been
actually
your
gave us a plan.
Chaos Dwarf update.
Okay, perfect.
This has been brought to you by Big M.
Yes. So, Space Marine 2. Now, everyone here has played Space Marine 1. We played it probably to death.
Yeah,
Good story. Know what happened. Captain Titus saves the planet. Jumps off a Warlord Titan. Crushes Nemeroth's head, who is a Chaos Space Marine champion that was turned into Demon Prince. And Captain Titus just crushes his head like a grape. Takes the Chaos artifact and breaks it into multiple pieces and survives the blast. And then I'm gonna swear. I'm gonna try not to swear. His subordinate, Leandros, who's always weary of everything he did because he could not think outside the box. He's strict to that book, the Codex of Stardust.
strict to the Codex.
Sold him out to Inquisitor Thrax, I believe was the name.
I think
Yeah,
so.
look that up.
Okay.
And to be scrubbed and make sure, because he was accusing him of heresy and using chaos and all that sort of stuff. So that was the end of 1. And then we had to wait years because THQ failed.
Yeah, actual reason.
So there's your recap of 1, more or less. It's a great game. Go play it. But what did we all think of 2? Overall, let's start high level, I guess. Overall thoughts, whole game as a package. Matt?
S.
S tier? Oh, can you
S rank.
Okay, expand.
S rank tier S. Yeah. I mean, it's honestly, it was everything I was hoping. Everything was done right. The only thing, like I was joking whenever I said the only thing that was not lore accurate was just the amount of Space Marine armory all around.
Yeah,
but the game wouldn't function otherwise.
Right.
Right.
That's the whole thing. Is like, I'm glad it's there though. I'm glad there's a heavy bolter in this trash can. Like it's
right.
Okay. Cole, high level thoughts?
High level thoughts first with the tiny ribbing would be that the control system took actually a little bit longer than I thought it would to get used to. First time through, I was using a controller. It felt a little clunky at first. I'm fine with it now, but I think it takes you a second to notice and go, oh yeah, whenever I push this, there's a second, there's a wind up. I got to think about what's going on here. I can't go, oh crap, no, block instead. No, you've committed to swinging that big hammer. It's going to hit something.
being a larger individual, I'm used to that delay, so it came back.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Nice.
outside of that, no. The studio that made this game, who is currently escaping my mind,
Uh,
obvious.
Focus Entertainment
There
and
we go.
something else. I think Focus Entertainment was the producer. There's
Yeah.
another one. Yeah, sorry, I forget the names.
I'll start looking it up while I talk here.
Okay.
Obviously, all of them read the lore enough, or at least whoever was in charge of that looked into it enough to be able to do a good service to it. They made sure to go through and find like some of the odd things. Servo skulls, obviously, in the last game, we brought them back here, but also there were some of the
Cherubs.
cherubs
Mhm.
brought in and little things like that. And I really enjoyed the beginning where we were anointing, putting all the armor on him, very much like the Space Marine trailer we had gotten
Although
years ago now.
it's so funny because every time they do it, like, here's how Space Marines armor up. This is official lore. I'm like, it's always different. You guys always do it
Yeah.
differently.
No,
Like,
but
just it's
to
cool.
be fair,
It can be cool and doesn't have to, like, you don't have to say it's this is how they always do it. Like, just,
I was going to say, and as very tribal as
Yes.
Space Marines are,
It's very religious.
going to vary.
It's very
Yes,
religious,
it's
yeah.
very much a religious thing. The developer was Saber Interactive,
Saber.
so that I have that now. But no, they did a great job with all of that, and it's great whenever you have it going right. It's a wonderful power fantasy whenever you're into the rhythm of it.
Yeah, I can't agree more with you guys. I absolutely loved it. I went into this. It's been so long since one that I was
Mhm.
fully expecting going into this, and the first half hour would be over explaining of what Warhammer 40K is. And I was kind of mentally prepared for it because it's been a while, and it's a pretty high profile game. And they did not care if you knew nothing about Warhammer 40K. Did you play the first Space Marine game? No? Well, too bad. Here's a hammer. Here's a chainsword.
Yeah.
Go shoot those bugs. Do you know anything about what Space Marines are other than big hulking behemoths? Do you know how religious intensive this is? Do you know how xenophobic they are? Do you know about how sucky this universe is? No? Well, you're gonna learn.
You're going to learn today.
And it's like, just as a Warhammer fan who's deep inside this, I really appreciated that because it let me get so much more enjoyment out of it. That said, I think anyone who's not a Warhammer person could go and enjoy this game. There would just be a lot more questions like, what's that? What's that? But that also would help intrigue some interest. I do think that all three modes we had, so the main story, operations, like the side stories where we can play multiplayer, and then the PvP, I think all three of those games, I think Matt, you might even said this, I think all three of those games are like a B plus, at least. I'd give the story an A plus, but everything's high level, and when you put it together into a package, it just elevates it to that high A, low S tier in my mind of just like how great this game is as a package.
Oh yeah, I mean, even if they would have just released the PVE missions
Yeah.
for like $25, $30, I would have bought it and I would have been happy for it. So
Yeah, and we're getting more of those for free.
Yeah. It's great.
I do also just really like what I mentioned earlier, that there's a season passes. Now, did any of us hear about the season pass yet?
I did.
I have not yet. No.
I have not yet, but I will be because I'm a Dark Angel player. And it's gonna be real funny when we start doing operations and Cole's sitting there in his salamander basic gear. Matt's got his ultramarine basic gear with his Death Watch shoulder, and then I'm gonna be the most pimped out Dark Angel tactical marine you've ever seen until they get their DLC.
Or I could always get that and then just go with the colors of the Blood Ravens and just be like, what? I found it.
It's mine.
Don't ask questions. Yeah.
Now, one thing I will say, I don't know if you guys noticed this. In Space Marine 1, I really enjoyed when they took an existing model and direct translated it into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Although, to me, it did stick out a little bit. Like, it didn't blend in as well. Like, it was like, I know that kit, you know?
Oh, you mean like especially like you see like the terrain rebel piece that you keep moving? It's
Right.
like, I know that terrain piece.
Right.
Yeah.
So like whenever you get to Space Marine 2 and now we have the iconic shipping crates,
Yeah.
they're identical, but they absolutely, I feel they blend in really well. They look super natural.
They do. Honestly, the things that stood out the most, like to me, like the Thunderhawks that you kept getting in, because like I mean they're gorgeous, and there's so much detail, but I'm just like, man, I want a Thunderhawk now. And it's like, stop it.
Whenever I saw how many Thunderhawks they were putting in here, I was like, they just know that everyone's been wanting a Thunderhawk for so long. They're like, we'll just give it to you.
Yeah.
Here you go. And that's why we're not going to blow up yours. Like,
and also, I do want to shout this out. If you're a modder out there, and if you can put in the work, this would be the best mod ever for that game. Is have a mod that anytime a actual Games Workshop purchasable model appears on screen, a little number appears and how much it cost.
Just painted on the side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, just floating. Like it's fine. And then like I think one of you said too, like have a total number of how much money you killed in Tyranids. and
Oh boy.
and Thousand Suns.
Boy, so much money. No, I'll be honest though, the load up screen whenever you were in the Thunderhawk, instantly the first time I saw it, I went, did they just use the loading screen from Darktide? Not that I was upset by that, but it had that feel to it instantly.
It did. It did.
That is another thing. I would like to know if they actually corroborated with Fat Shark Games at all to see, because like it feels like one universe between the two games.
Yeah, the feeling in both games do translate. The gameplay not so much, but the feeling, feeling does go really well. But there's also, it's actually really interesting too. The one complaint I've given to you guys, just in every mode, is I feel like my armor is tissue paper, and like in one, I feel like I could take a few bolter shots before it affected health. Now I feel like I sneezed in the wrong direction, and my armor's gone and my health's draining, and I'm just like, I don't know what I did. Like that's my only critique. Is like I feel like armor needs to last just a little bit longer.
What they need to do is they just need to give us another game mode and give us lore accurate as the game mode, where you just can't actually die, and so you can just go do whatever you want.
That's true. I mean, I would even I would want my armor to last longer and my health to drop quicker. I would be fine with that. It would just feel better.
With that
it would
too.
just feel better.
Yeah.
Well, with all that, so let's talk about the story. So we've all loved it. Obviously, we start out with Titus. He's in the Death Watch. He's a Black Shield. So what do we all think about that as his reintroduction of what had, you know? And did you guys know? Did you guys, both of you guys, see how he got to the Death Watch from being in inquisitorial jail?
Yes.
Oh, I did not catch that.
Matt, do you want to explain?
I mean, I didn't realize. Was there a whole thing to it? I just thought it was just.
So yeah, so it's actually in the lore. It wasn't put in the game, so you had to go find this yourself. In the lore, Thrax, the Inquisitor that Leandros turns you over to, he hates Space Marines because he's a character in other books, I believe, or short stories, and he hates Space Marines. Okay. So he takes you and starts torturing you to prove that you're Chaos Corrupt, finds you innocent, decides to just torture you for a century. The Grey Knights found Titus and other Space Marines that were essentially captured and being tortured by Thrax over the centuries because they came to kill Thrax because he was possessed by a demon. Go figure.
Surprise. Yeah.
And they were going to take him, like, do you want to go back to the Ultramarines? And he said no because he thought he had shamed the Ultramarines. That's why he went and became a Black Shield for the Death Watch, because he felt like he didn't want to bring shame to it. So that's why that happened. And then whenever he was found, so obviously let's go through the first mission, the tutorial mission. We're Death Watch. Titus is leading his squad. Colt, do you want to give a rundown of what we're doing on this weird planet?
So, and we are leading the squad to go to a launch site because we have a virus that is going to, well, the idea would be to kill all of the Tyranid life, but however, as anyone who's experienced the lore knows, Tyranids adapt very quickly. So this was just to slow down the Hive fleet, make it have to adapt to this, use it as delaying action.
All to protect this Project Aurora that we knew nothing about.
We knew nothing about the project, and that's why Exterminatus was not an option for this mission.
Yep.
Well, the mission goes to shit immediately. You fall out of your Thunderbolt, I believe is what it is.
Yeah, I was really happy they got the actual Death Watch ship.
Oh, yeah, no,
they could have just done a Thunderhawk. They could have done whatever.
They could have. They took the time to do that one ship for 60 seconds of screen time.
Yeah,
I'm
so you're
here
getting
for
ripped
it.
open.
Like, yeah. You get separated. The rest of your squad goes off and is doing the actual mission. It goes terribly for them because by the time you catch up to everyone, they're all dead.
Yep.
So you go on and successfully complete the mission yourself. However, in doing so, you end up in the shit with a shit ton of different Tyranids all around you, and eventually a Carnifex comes by, and you go, how am I going to deal with this? They don't even give me a health bar right now. What's going on?
Yeah, as soon as the health bar went away, I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep shooting till cutscenes me.
It is the scripted death. However, upon his death, we then get a nice little black screen.
Well,
go ahead.
I was to say, did you catch the reference from the end of the game to this point in the game about how Titus doesn't die here? Because he looks like he's going to die, and he's just a normal space marine. He's not a Primaris yet either, which is key.
Right.
But either of you catch that?
What?
Maybe? I don't know what you're...
So
I also don't know what you're
as he's in and out of consciousness before he's taken to and wakes up on the battle barge for the Ultramarines, bolter shells come from an air down at an angle and start chewing through everything, and then that's when he finally passes out, which is the same angle as we find out later when Marnius Calgar arrived on the Thunderhawk and was shooting down from his Thunderhawk. So,
okay.
This is another point that's not. You had to go find it because it's not explained in the game. That who's the Ultramarine librarian, the big one?
Oh, starts with a T.
Yeah,
this is the same thing.
I'm not gonna.
Tiger.
He might.
No. Yeah. Just no.
It's not that. It's not that.
While he's looking that up, I'll add some. So, as someone that loves the Death Watch, I was geeking out the entire time.
Yeah,
because like every option, like everything about it, you literally didn't have to say a word about anything to understand what was going on if you know the Death Watch. You know that as soon as you see that that's Titus, you totally get what's going on with the Black Shield. You see him again as a Death Watch on a Xenos, well, not a Xenos planet, but a planet being attacked by Xenos. It's like, oh, everything's right there. And again, Death Watch armor.
Yep. And they
though it's new, all-time favorite.
And they did give flavor to the different chapters that were mixed in. Cause there was an Imperial Fists. I forget what the other ones were, but like they kind of gave a hint whenever they were speaking of their chapter origins.
Yeah.
Cole, did you find the?
Yeah, it's Tigress.
Yes. Okay. So Tigress, the big named librarian, because at this time, Calgar and the Ultramarines are in the sector to fight the Tyrannic War, because this is the early parts of Indominus. Like Gilliman is fresh and new still. I don't think the Lion's awake yet in the timeline of where this is at.
No, I don't think so.
Tigress senses the soul of Titus, because don't forget, Titus was captain of the Second Company. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So they know each other. He sensed his soul, and that's when Calgar came down and saved him as he's dying. And apparently Tigress even checked his whole soul, and so don't forget, he's communed with the hive mind.
Mm-hmm.
This Ultramarine is a badass. He looked at Titus's soul and said, he's clean.
Right.
So all that happened while you're blacked out.
Yeah.
And then you wake up and you're a Primaris and you're talking to a chaplain. And that chaplain's like, you gotta be back in the Ultramarines because that's like finally abolish your sins, but I'm watching you.
Yeah. I also enjoyed that in the story, just like we were talking about earlier about the no hand holding.
Yeah.
They're saying Primaris and Calgar and all this, and then they're saying the Primarch, and they're giving zero explanation for any of it. If you don't know, you're like, why do I care about the Primarch and who the fuck is Calgar? Like, it's great.
And the which we'll get into later. One of the kind of, I was like, darn it, opportunity missed. But again, it comes into the story later with the skepticism of
Chaplain Quintus
of the chaplain.
Yeah.
Because like, did you guys watch the Blood Angels video on Warhammer Plus, where everything's black and white except for
Oh
their
yeah.
armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love the chaplain in there, where he's just this like he's the glue that keeps the company, not the company, but the band together.
Mm-hmm.
And so to see like something so removed, I was like, 'cause I really like that thing, that niche.
Yeah.
So again, and I'm also hoping some of the rumors might be true that we might be getting a chaplain in the multiplayer.
That'd be pretty sick.
I don't think we will, but I'd like
No,
it.
no. Yeah.
Well, as we essentially wake up, Titus is a Primaris now, scars all over, which is a pretty quick thing to happen. He joins the Ultramarines again, but he's now a lieutenant, a lieutenant if you're British.
If
I
you're
guess.
Scottish, apparently, yeah.
Yeah, if you're Scottish, you get to be captain. If you should have been a Space Wolf, you're now captain of the second company with Arcade.
Exactly.
And you were in Phobos armor, which makes no freaking sense. Like, I guess it's fine. It doesn't bother me, but like, I'm like,
Right.
man, that really
Should have been 10th company if you're in Phobos, right?
that was my
Like,
thought, but Primaris.
Yeah.
But you get two new companions this time around. Was it? I'm gonna butcher these names.
It's okay. You got this.
Chiron
Chiron
and
Gadriel.
yes,
Yes.
Mhm.
close. At least it's close enough.
Yeah. Let's just talk about them for a little bit because, they were unique. Because in the previous one we had Leandris, who was the young subordinate who eventually turned you in because he's too strict with the code, and then you had the old grizzled veteran that kind of calmed Titus down. Like he's seen some stuff. I can't remember his name, because he died in the first one. But
Mhm.
now this one, they're both younger. Like I think it's implied at the start that they came into this as Primaris.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they've always
Yeah.
been Primaris. So.
I think that's the vast majority of all Primaris currently universe-wise, but especially for, I think, how early we're catching this story for as far as Primaris are concerned. Like, probably everyone but the captain that you see probably was Primaris first, not crossing the Rubicon. There's a possibility that the captain
Yeah.
had.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't. Right. But
that's another thing where they don't hold your hand, because after they talk and Titus walks away, they say to each other, "Did you see the number of service studs he had?"
mhm.
What the
Yes,
hell's that mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the four
yeah,
things in his
that-
head.
and
You don't even know. Yeah.
exactly. If you don't know, you don't realize that he's got 4 service studs in his head. He's an old man compared to every Primaris that ever existed right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
And yeah, so that's whenever they said he didn't start as a Primaris then,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
which is very interesting dynamic on something that I would say a decent chunk of 40K players don't know, that there's friction between Primaris and non-Primaris.
There is, although I think the Ultramarines were the least to suffer from it, just
Oh,
because
yeah.
Gilliman brought the Primaris order in.
Right.
So,
Right.
but like, yeah, if it was any other chapter, we would have seen a lot more suspicions. But if they were Dark Angels, wouldn't even happen. This game couldn't exist. Everyone
Yeah.
killed real quick.
Yep.
But anyway, I to be fair, just in general, the arc of those two characters I really liked, because, and like we can glossing through some of the early parts of the story. You're going to fight Tyranids, and eventually you discover that, oh, you're supposed to save this Project Aurora. The Archmagos was doing the thing on it, and Titus still doesn't know what it is. He's just like, okay, I'm told to go save it. So you're fighting hordes of Tyranids, and that swarm mechanic is super well done.
Yeah.
I think the only mechanic I didn't enjoy is when you had to get like the flamethrower and walk through like the really small swarms.
Yeah.
Because I thought
And-
what you had to do, the AI
Yeah.
for your companions and even some of the enemies isn't the best.
Mhm.
So I felt like I was having to carry all the weight, and it's hard to
Yeah.
get a flamethrower going where you're also trying to shoot like a zoanthrope. It's
Well, I don't know if you remember, we were on Discord, and I said that would have been easier with another person.
oh yeah, is that it?
that was the part I was in.
Yeah, with multiple people we'll
Oh
crush.
yeah,
that. There's no issue.
100%.
Also,
Yeah.
a little disappointed that weapon didn't do a little more damage against things, not little skittering things on the floor.
Yeah, I had the same feeling about the Melta gun. Not the Malta Melter. Malta Melter was great. Regular Malta.
Well, the thing is, I think the Melta has an incredibly close range.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a shotgun, but
Yeah, you basically got to be giving them kisses.
yeah. But yeah, just in general, the story arc of your two characters was great. But as we're going through, fighting Tyranids left and right, save the Archmagos. He gets on a ship finally because he's, oh my god, I hate the Mechanicum. I hated them in the last game. I hate them in this game. They are so, they don't get it. Like, I need you on this ship because you're going to die. No, I gotta save this data. I'm like, get on the fucking ship.
Since I don't have to deal with them, I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting there, you're like, Control Alt Delete. I don't know, man. Comply, and then just like,
like so much stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he has to actually pray to turn on the machine and like all this stuff, and it's like he sprinkles the incense in this one part. And I'm like, come on, like just punch it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're going to save. We're fighting through this planet, and then we rediscover Project Aurora. So we're sent down as Titus to go save Archmagos something. What's his name? I'll look. Hold on. I have a list of the names here. I just gotta remember which one it is. Nope.
I mean,
not
it's
lose.
Archmagos not going to be part of the story for more than one chapter. So
That's true. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But yeah. So you go down to save him. He won't leave until you save the data. You save the data. You prevent a nuclear meltdown that would destroy the city, I'm like, why did you... Okay. And then he finally says, okay, I will board the Thunder ship. Matt, what happens?
It go down.
You get shot down. They don't see what happens. You conveniently look away. But it lands in Tyranid territory. So we got to go to Cole's favorite part, which is Jetpack Heaven.
Yes, it is. So you get to do what was honestly the best part of Space Marine 1 as well.
Yeah,
you
it
can
was
fight
really
me
good.
on that if you think. Yeah, in 1, you were OP if you had a jetpack on and a Thunderhammer in your hands. So it was the greatest of all time. We jump ourselves over to the crash site as fast as we can, fighting and slaying Tyranids along the way, to get to the crash site and go, why are all these chaos runes everywhere? And Titus is the only one that knows about it because none of these Primaris have ever seen chaos before.
Also, yeah, like the Magos and like other random people that were there are impaled in ritualistic sacrifices.
Yes.
Which also,
the
not holding hands.
Magos was obvious.
Oh.
Yeah, not even a little bit. That's just, hi, welcome to Chaos now. We have devil worshippers in the universe. Enjoy.
And then on the Crash Thunderhawk, they find Project Aurora, which I don't know about you, but I have not played one for a while. But as soon as I saw that case, I'm like, I know what the fuck this is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, well, one
a little bit
part
bigger than
that
it was in the previous one.
I like someone decided to write the main bad guy's name on the side of the ship.
Imura.
And then, and then one of the dumb Primaris guys on your team's like, Imura. And they're like, don't read it.
Yeah.
He gets yelled at least.
Say it out loud. Yeah, he does he gets reprimanded immediately.
And to be fair, I think that's a good thing because it shows, because one of the key things from the Horus Heresy, which as I enjoy my tea from my mug, that names have power in this universe, immensely so. So I actually didn't hate that happened, but yeah, it was silly. It's a little silly that none of them would have probably done that, but I think it was a good, like one of those, let's reinforce how important names are in this universe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like it's hard to tell because they don't have service studs, do they?
I don't believe they do. No.
No.
So, I mean, I feel like they're pretty new.
Yeah.
They don't say exactly how new, I don't think.
They're new as Space Marines, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So they didn't get to that. They didn't get to that webinar yet.
Well, the chaplain was too upset about worrying about Titus, as we find
right,
out.
Right. He's like, the webinar on Zinch and what not to do is canceled because I'm pissed off about Titus.
Yeah.
And his big booty clapping cheeks. Okay, so you go back to the ship, and Titus passes out, looking at this weird artifact and the thing that they bring on the side of the ship, which is really weird for a space marine to just pass out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they don't really come back to that.
Well, so they kind of say about how he had just crossed the Rubicon 2 days ago. And everyone's like,
the
"Ooh,
that was the
that's-"
excuse.
Yeah, that was the excuse. I mean,
I think it was he did it, and it was to imply maybe to new people like something's not right about this thing. This is now a key plot point, and it's
I feel like, to me, I almost read it as like it started off as the excuse and then they forgot about it. So it's like, no, that's actually what happened.
right. Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
because
again, it ain't easy coming to Primaris.
no, it is not. You get ripped apart and put in a new
Right.
body, essentially. So it's not easy on you.
yeah,
Uh,
and it's odd too because whenever he wakes up, like that's this excuse he uses, and like everyone's worried about him. Like, what if you pass? What if that happens again? Because that's weirdly weird.
Right.
Rightfully so, but he's like ignoring it because now Titus is. I think Titus has made the connection at this point. He's like I'm pretty sure I know what this is. He's not fully certain.
Right.
But and then he says that he was like they're like, when did you have the surgery? He's like 2 weeks ago, and they're just like, what? And I don't know about you. I know we're not space marines here. We try, but last time I had surgery was my appendix getting out, and in 2 weeks I was back at the gym doing very light stuff. I wasn't
Right.
back to full effort.
doing.
I wasn't supposed to, but no, I was just fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Odd. Odd. And I was like, that's really quick. That's really crazy quick. Almost as if they wanted him to come back. Someone's like, yeah, make him a Primaris. He'll be fine.
Somebody
And then
knew
somebody
exactly.
wanted him to
Yeah.
die quick.
Yeah.
Or was hoping.
Yes.
But and then what's interesting too during this whole thing, Titus is very reserved as his two subordinates are asking him and trying to be brothers, like, what's going on? Like, talk to us. And he's just like, no, because the last time he opened his mouth, that Leandra's fuck decided to send him into fucking torture for 100 years. So he's still kind of reserved from things. And obviously he probably wasn't talking much in the Death Watch. He was probably just doing Death Watch stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And the only person he mentions anything close to it was Archaon, the captain, who immediately shuts him down and says, you better shut your mouth because people are out for you. And he's just like, okay.
Yeah.
But hey, guess what we get to do anyway? We get to go find the guy to finish this whole Project Aurora of the thing that you're suspicious about. His name's Luz, so call him Loser.
So
he's the
They
apprentice
didn't
of
necessarily make him a very spined individual.
No, but he lived longer.
Yeah.
Than this.
He did. He outlived, his predecessor.
Yep. But essentially, then you go down and you're still fighting some Tyranids to go find him, and then the Thousand Suns start appearing. And then Tzeentch demons. I'm not buying Carrick Acolytes, GW. Nice try, but I'm not buying
No.
it.
I do like the kit. I do like
it, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one thing, kind of talking about the relationship between the three Space Marines, I really liked that, like you said, like they started off like kind of weird that this guy that we'd never heard of came in and now he's our superior, but all right, I guess.
But we're Space Marines, we follow orders. Yeah.
Right. And then like because he's reserved, they start getting suspicious.
Well, I think there's for sure, because don't forget there's that one scene, because in between this, the chaplain's always kind of talking to you here and there.
Right.
And there's one scene where he pulls Gadriel aside. Like, as you're walking away, he says, Sergeant Gadriel, I need to, let me see you over here. And he doesn't follow you for like a good minute. Because then you talk to the three people who are doing the operation. So he's pulled aside for a second, which is really like telling at a later moment. That's where we're going to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but that's one of the things that I absolutely love is like it's not just relationships aren't like, even though it's like it's Space Marine, like you would expect it to just be like, okay, they're gonna be okay with him, and then they're not gonna like him, and then they're gonna like him again. That's not how it goes.
Yeah.
Like whenever the Tzeentch possessions start like coming to like be revealed, the other one
Chiron?
yeah, Chiron, like he just stops going along with Gadriel's complaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's just silent. Like
Yep.
he's like, I'm not sure anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And like it's a slow evolution that they don't even address it. They don't even talk about it. It's just here it is. If you picked up on it, you picked up on it. And if not, you didn't.
Right.
It is fascinating because, like, yeah, the telling part about Space Marines, because don't forget, I mean, you guys know, but for the audience, if you've forgotten or don't know, every Space Marine is supposed to be like the best 5-star general that we've ever created on Earth tactically, and obviously be one of the best warriors ever created genetically. So like they're thinking incredibly fast and multifacets that like we can't comprehend. So their internal monologue is drastically different. So, and you know, but they're also indoctrinated to follow orders. They're indoctrinated to you know, fight for the Imperium and die for the Emperor. So that's a very strict hierarchy: Emperor, Brotherhood, Emperor, Imperium, Brotherhood, blah 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 blah. So like, and the way that these things have happened, like if let's get to it. So essentially, let's say you save Luz, essentially, and he's going to go work on the rest of Project Aurora, and then you find out that it's the old Chaos device from 1, reassembled, because the Mechanicum are dumb.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And then Luz and such.
Why did you do that? It was blinking 12.
But Luz then goes back down into the other third planet, because there's 3 planets, I forget their names, they don't matter. To finish the device, even though now Titus and everybody's realized, okay, this is not a good thing, we need to stop it. So you go to send an astropathic message to Calgar to warn him. And while you're doing this, Gadriel still has some concerns. And you send the telepathic message. It is risky because everyone's just like, this telepath, she may die because anyone that's opening their eye to the warp, or which also they're not explaining what that means.
Right, the shadow of the warp that's occurring because the Tyranids are there.
Yeah, and the Thousand Suns are invading, or like, so she.
Right.
So while she's sending the message, she calls Titus like, "Oh, you're a traitor. You want to bring Calgar here to die." Gadriel immediately, because of the hierarchy in his brain of his indoctrination, says, "Oh, he's a traitor," and probably because he had the Quintus was talking to him on the side to watch out for any sort of chaos corruption. Immediately tries to start killing Titus.
Yes.
Which is like, and if you are not used to like that methodology of thinking that the Space Marines have of like Emperor, Imperium, Brotherhood, and if one thing is above the other, that's what I'm going to act upon. Like,
right.
It was a really weird moment when you're coming into it going like, oh man, Space Marines all about Brotherhood. I'm like, not quite. Not if one of them's a traitor.
Right.
Thankfully, Cole, do you want to explain how Titus doesn't die by Gadriel's hand?
Yeah, thankfully, even though we are doing quite a bit of wrestling around over a bolt pistol at the moment, I forget what the one who's like not so suspicious. Thank you. Is telling them like, don't. Bolt pistol accidentally goes off.
Well, wasn't one Gadriel had?
Oh, sorry, that's right. It was Terran's bolt pistol as he shoots the astropath.
Yeah, because he knows what it is. He's like, oh, that's demon possession.
Which to the rest of us, crazy.
Yeah. Until
you realize, no, that is a trick by Tzeentch. Yep. This is actually Imura, I believe is the name. Yeah. Who is the Tzeentch sorcerer who has brought the Thousand Suns here to, I'm not entirely certain if they fully say, but it's obvious that they are after the artifact.
It's not fully stated yet because they're not like, do they want to stop the artifact from going off?
Right.
Or do
they don't know.
It? Yeah.
Right. Something to do with it. And they believe that it's going to do something for them. But that is why the Thousand Suns are here. And the person who all communication should be going through is actually a sorcerer of the Thousand Suns.
Yep.
Also, I appreciate that they don't explain why all of the Thousand Suns are filled with gay sand.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was some sparkly sand. That is
It
for
was.
certain.
Yeah, I was. Although
And
to
that
be
was
fair, they never really described the sand before, so I guess like it would be warp. It like that's the
Oh
colors
yeah,
of the warp.
definitely.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm like,
no,
I'm
I'm
like that makes
100%
sense. Yeah.
here for how that sand was
Oh,
like
absolutely.
shown to us.
Well, it's like
It's just
it'd
one
be
of those
like
things
it
that
probably would have been dumber if they just ripped it open and it was just sand.
Right.
Like
maybe,
that,
but I do love how they didn't explain it, and you're just like the first time you do an execution, and you're doing the one where you just rip the helmet off and sand comes out. Boy, if you didn't know that, you're like,
why is there no person in here? And because then the armor
what
just falls apart.
yes,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So if you don't
that
know, yeah.
that was cool. That was a very cool way of them showing that instead of telling you.
So essentially, the Thousand Sons, who was a loyal chapter up until the Horus Heresy, and some Tzeentch trickery, they were always trying to resolve their corruption from using too much warp power because the chaos was technically corrupting them physically. In order to fix this, one of I forget the second in command. I forget his name.
Yeah,
It doesn't
forget.
matter. It's Thousand Sons.
Starts with an I. I
Yeah,
forget.
sure.
Imura.
No, it's not
Nah.
casts his own essentially like Rubicon, essentially,
Mhm.
that stops the chaos corruption by turning all of his brothers who were not psychers into that type of dust inside the armor.
Yeah.
They're still sentient in there, but they're not physically there. It's just like their
Yep.
soul in the armor, and it's like their bodies turn to the warp dust.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
and also,
just-
how about Imra's entrance? Him just floating up and then like kick flipping on the freaking
yeah,
Tzeentch
it was pretty
disc
good.
and then summoning the staff. That was pretty cool.
That was pretty sweet.
I've never
Also,
seen.
Just
there's-
the way they showed the astropath starting her,
Oh yeah, yeah.
like her message, like that was very Warhammer feeling,
Oh,
especially
she pulls out a bone out of nowhere and she's like, "I'm gonna cut myself." And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
It's true.
yeah,
Like,
we're going through all that ritual. It very much reminded me of the fan-made Warhammer skit from years ago. Instantly, I went there.
it's actually interesting that you brought that up because I didn't even think about that being weird.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
No, instantly, you're just like, of course, there's some sort of strange ritual, but
yeah, that's what they do.
if this is maybe your start into Warhammer, you've heard of it, and you're like, yeah, that sounds like an awesome game. So many people are talking about what kind of voodoo magic are we doing here to send a message across space? I
really-
thought we needed a satellite. Like,
Which in my mind, what she did is she had that pool of cleansed water and she put, drops of her blood in there, so that way she had a connection that was back to the ground in a physical place while she was mentally, psychically up. Like that, my whole brain was like,
Right.
okay, there's the answer. I'm like, that's why she's
Right.
doing this, probably.
Mhm.
It's so stupid. I love Warhammer.
It is great.
But yeah, and then it's full Thousand Suns going on. There's occasionally some Tzeentch, some Tyranid fights that happen in the way because they're still there. They're still doing their thing.
Yep.
Now, also speaking of that, Cole, I know you never played World of Warcraft. Chuck, you'll understand this pain where you're trying to go after the bandits, and while you're going after the bandits, the wolves attack you,
Oh yeah.
and the wolves never attack the bandits.
Unless
However,
it's scripted.
here, most of the time, if Tyranid and Thousand Suns are in the same area, they're fighting each other when you get there.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome that it's like, it just reminds you nobody likes anybody.
You're right.
I'm actually very curious because I'd go into those parts and just kind of like just start firing round after round and I'd pull everything. I'm wondering if I went in there and actually picked my shots, like get the Stalker Bolter rifle and just be like,
Mhm.
I'm just going to focus on the Thousand Suns.
The actual threats.
if
Yeah.
the Tyranids will never turn to face me until the other guys are dead. I wonder if that's the
Oh,
case. That'd be
I
interesting.
actually did in the multiplayer. They do, because there was a time where we were going through and I was specifically pulling shots,
Mhm.
and because I was like, oh, the little demon guys are not beating the big Tyranid guy, so I was just shooting them
Warrior.
down,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then the Tyranid warrior turned and came after us, and I was like,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we can hope for updates in the future.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, but it seems like the message might have gone out that Titus passed, which was to tell Calgar Aurora's bad,
Yeah.
get back here. So obviously there's some. They all fight our three main heroes: Titus, Chiron, and
Yeah.
Gadriel fight back to the ship. There's a little bit of discussion. Titus finally starts opening up because Charon's sitting there like, I know what I was facing. That was like a demon possessed thing, and Gadriel's calming down, and even Titus goes, I understand what you did, but like we're done with the suspicion stuff. And he actually opens up and tells them like he was a Black Shield. This is what happened. Like, because he's Titus has put it all together at this point.
Right.
Yeah, and it was cool to see because, okay, yeah, you literally just tried to kill me, but I understand why. But here's why we're done with it, because I told you all the actual reasons of what's going on now that I figured it out. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I love that. Like, Titus was like, no, in your point of view, you did what was right.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
And then I wish Titus would have been like, now again, I was trying. You know?
Still, trying to save you from chaos as well.
Yeah.
So
you're still here because I wanted you to still be here. You know?
yeah. But yeah, so and then after that it just goes on a fest like, okay, we gotta find Luz. So we go deep into the planet, these mines. Turns out it's all Necron stuff that should have been destroyed. And Mechanicum's like, nope. But it's Blackstone. And then
they never talk about
They never say Blackstone. They
Nope.
never explain what Blackstone is and how it actually has
never
properties
say
to
Necron.
enhance or destroy chaos energies in the universe.
Yeah.
Just like they're talking, actually too, we haven't talked about too, the one scene where you're going through, and there's guardsmen who are cowards, so they're being shot, even though it's a desperate situation.
Yeah.
How they're talking about how Cadia stands and the planet broke before the
Yeah.
guard did, and it's just like no one knows what Cadia even is, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot about those little tidbits.
Yeah, the speech that the guy gives from atop the Bane Blade was great.
Mhm.
Loved it.
That's the thing. Is like they figured out natural ways to just cram this filled with 40K feel.
Well, it's the modern way of storytelling. Show, don't tell.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
It's a classic way that we're finally getting back to.
Fair enough.
Me and Matt grew up on it.
Well, look, all right. I'm used to every time we do a new Spider-Man, we got to go through this again. All right.
Yeah, so you go find Luz, and like we all know as Warhammer players, he's messing with Blackstone. And it turns out Imra wanted him to finish his work because the whispers in their ears was actually Tzeentch giving them knowledge, not the Omnissiah, who they also don't really explain who that is. Once again. And I'm not going to because it's fun this way. And he completes the Blackstone device, Project Aurora, in a way that's enhancing the power of that Chaos Crystal that was destroyed in the first one and rebuilt, which allows this third planet to be a giant portal to the Eye of Terra for Tzeentch.
Yeah.
And we get this, and I was so happy that the Lord of Change was massive.
Oh my, it was so good looking because of how big that thing was.
Yeah.
It was great. Also, I was sitting there going, are we really about to fight Necrons right now? Like, I'm here for this too. I'm glad we didn't. We kept it to 2 enemy types, but still, for a second I was like, we gonna do it?
I'm also glad. I also liked how they kind of hinted that even Space Marine 1 was, Tzeentch was behind it.
Yeah, well, that was always hinted at because of the colors of the warp energies from 1.
Yes.
It was always very Tzeentchy, which in its device carrying through and becoming like pure Tzeentch was a good feeling.
Yeah.
But long story short, you're going through, you need to kill Imra, who, and Calgar, and you guys, you fight. You get to like where the second company's trying to get to this gate to stop it, and the standard's down. Titus picks it up, starts shooting. That was the best scene where you're just like trying to hold off this wave. I'm like, man, I showed that to my wife, and I was just like, honey, if I wasn't married, this is my fantasy. Like, there's 2 fantasies: being married and having a nice traditional happy life, and this. That's it. And she's just like, okay. She's just, I don't get it.
It's like, I don't understand what's wrong with you, but
not being Calgar, but being on the battlefield when Calgar shows up.
Yeah. But yeah, and then Thunderhawk comes in, Calgar got the message, and you see the shots come down and he saves people again. And like I said, that's where the reference of how you're saved in the first one. It's him.
Mhm.
And also the Thunderhawk just blowing up a Hellbrute with a missile.
Yes.
That felt
It
good.
was great. It was great.
Yeah. And then you're united with your chapter master, and it's so fun too because all this predecessor before, like Space Marines, are just acting to each other because we're all very close in rank, like with just mutual respect, and like all the humans, the Acadian guardsmen, are very reverent, very kneeling and awe-inspired when you walk by. And now the Space Marines act like that when Calgar shows up, and it's just like, whoa, he's a badass. Like it emphasized how great a chapter master is.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to
What?
set up a new call?
Oh, did it pop up for you?
2 minutes.
Okay. All right. We're gonna take a short break, refresh the call, get some drinks, and then we'll be right back. Okay. The brief break is over, so back at it. Yes. So you get Calgar, and then you are trying to formulate a plan of how to stop that Lord of Change and this planet from happening. And do you guys remember which is one of the coolest things? Because Titus is trying to figure out. Do you remember the cool part that happens here?
They decided to turn the stick upside down.
Well, okay, but who thought of it? Not Titus.
Chiron. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Our suspicious sergeant.
Yep. Well, actually, was it Chiron or it was Gadriel? Chiron.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was. Yeah.
It was
It was
Gadriel.
his idea, and then, but it was when Titus went to go flip it, Chiron was like, yoink!
Well, no, Gadriel stepped in on the first one. So essentially,
Yeah.
you see, because you get hinted at by Luz, is like he had the little Blackstone dagger thing, and he flipped it, and it caused the issue to happen. And he talked about reversing polarities. So Gadriel, who's now thinking outside the box.
Yes, outside of the Codex.
Yeah, even though there's the reference earlier on, which I love, which
Oh,
I've already spliced into this episode, where
Good.
because in the first one, when you're first jumping in the ship out of the ship in one, Leandros is like, the Codex of Stories does not support this action. And you're just like, shut up, bitch. But in the second one, Gadriel says it, and Titus like glares at him, and then Gadriel goes, "But I'm looking forward to this." And,
Yeah,
and he like
yeah.
just smile, like the Giga Chad meme kicks in.
Mhm.
So like,
Oh yeah.
Titus's way of thinking has brushed off. Even like the units is now acknowledged of like, you guys think outside the box. How do we fix this?
Mhm.
And they come up with it. So, while you're about to go in and turn that first one, Gadriel just pushes you aside, takes it, and flips it himself with much effort, and you're just like, badass.
Yeah.
And then you go do a second one, and Charon decides to take it. Although I like that he took it with his bionic arm and had no issues. Did you pick up like he's like at the end he's just like flexes it and he's like fine, and Gadriel looks at him like, really?
Yeah, like just
Whatever.
lose your arm a few years ago and you'd have been fine. Yeah.
Mhm. And you eventually manage to break in and weaken the Lord of the Change. That there's a final push, which is super cool. Calgar's leading it. Tons of Primaris tanks and stuff, and like your whole second company that's left, just going towards this gate to kind of close it until Matt. What happens right before you get there?
Oh yeah, then the wave comes by.
Yeah, that
Everyone gets like
Project Aurora, one of the waves, freezes almost everybody in place.
yeah.
Right.
Basically, it freezes everyone except for Titus and his two buddies. It freezes Calgar. He just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
He just says no.
Tyson's
Yeah.
buddies go and hide behind a rock real quick because they understand what's about to come. And Calgar's just like 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up.
He's like, I've got a word save. It's okay, everybody.
Yep. And then they all go into this portal. Calgar's nowhere to be seen. You meet up with your two buddies and you fight Imra, who is pretty much capturing Calgar. He has something against Calgar. I couldn't figure out what it was. Like, he hates Calgar for some reason. I think Calgar might have maybe killed him long ago or something, or pushed him into the warp or something. Like, he has a vendetta against Calgar specifically.
He definitely does. Yeah.
I will say, whenever you like awaken in his domain, for what lack of better, I had no idea what the hell I was doing.
When you're just wandering around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Yeah, because like that's where they really establish like you need to hang on to your brotherhood of your brothers, because that's what keeps you grounded, and your hate for anything evil.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. But you go in, you fight Imra and that beat up Lord of Change,
Yeah.
And what I thought, I went through that. I managed, and I was playing on normal. I
Mhm.
was holding on. I was clenching the whole time because, like, they give you all the ammo in the world, but there's no health to be seen.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh boy.
Yeah.
That was exciting. But I managed to kill it in one.
Very good.
I thought
Very
I
good.
think it switched to a cutscene. I was like ready. I'm like, there's more coming, and it's like, no, it's just the end.
Yeah.
Which,
It-
yeah, go ahead.
So I was playing it on the hardest difficulty, and it was a very tough fight. But I don't know, I'm a Dark Souls player, so that's probably part of my
Yeah, it's
problem.
fair, yeah.
But the fight did get very repetitive, but I did enjoy like the extra lights and everything you get to give you a heads up as to what to do. So it felt good, even though it was a little bit of a slog for me by the end, because by the time I got done with it,
He,
it was the pattern was there and established. It was
yeah,
okay.
I think I
Block,
went through
wait,
the pattern like
block.
3 times. I think
Okay.
you probably had more health, so you probably had to go through it
Yeah,
more.
see,
Right.
we did a normal.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You guys
Yeah.
pushed through it after 3 repetitions of it, and I'm
I do have
doing
a
it
question.
5,
I
6
do have a
times.
question here.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
If Chuck and I beat it on normal and you beat it on the hardest setting, why are we always saving your ass in the PvE?
Okay. Well, real quick, I'm gonna touch on one thing before we touch on PvP, but which we gotta finish the story anyway. But
Of course.
Matt, I think you found it because Matt and I play MMOs, and we've done raiding.
Mhm.
Whenever the Lord Change was doing its wave push and its claws, I was like, I was snoozing because I'm just like, I've seen this mechanic a million times in MMOs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
I
my
was
first
definitely-
time seeing the wave thing, I had no idea what I was supposed to do because in
roll.
my mind, I'm like, if I roll, I'm still going to hit the wave.
No,
And then
but
I did it. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
game logic.
I framed straight through
Yep,
it, baby.
You defeat Imra. He's kind of reining in the power. Calgar comes and joins you. Your boys are going down. Calgar's holding everything off as he can. And then Titus goes and shatters the device again.
Oh, yeah.
Which is cool. And then after a white flashing burning light, you wake up back on the planet and you're down. I was concerned too. I was just like, it's like half of me
Right.
gone. Like, because like Titus
Mhm.
looks like
Yeah.
he's been through the shit. Like the explosion happened right here.
No, I was fully expecting them to show us like bloody ruins below him of
Yeah.
nothing left. Yeah.
But Calgar's there
I
and
love-
he's like, your duty's
he
not done.
goes to that mini nuke in his hands, and Calgar's like, "Get back up, you bitch."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calgar stands up and he says, for the Emperor, and it's just like, prove there's no chaos. And it's just like, yeah, boom, done. No issues.
Mhm.
I also, hey, by the way, we got to talk about this because I completely forgot. I posted a meme in it before we joined here. We forgot to talk about it. The badassness and how much I want to get a Primaris Dreadnought now.
I was going to say the actual main character of this game.
Yeah.
I hope that's a DLC just to play through it with him.
Oh, they need to just make a mission where it's just you inside a dreadnought armor
Oh,
and just let's go.
Just
That's one thing that I was kind of hoping for in this was to get in, have like a mission where you're in Terminator armor.
Yeah, Terminator armor.
I think that would break the lore more than all the Space Marine weapons around.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
you get
there,
Terminator. Who, if he doesn't deserve Terminator honors, who does?
No, but I'm saying like, but that's a major change. He would not leave Terminator armor then.
No, I'm not saying that. Just like a whole mission where you're Terminator armor. Just be a small one.
No, that I think that would break the lore a little too much.
No, you're wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a Primaris Dreadnought fighting a Hellbrute out of nowhere. He just casually blocks the Hellbrute's Thunderhammer, kills it, follows you around. He says, "Lead me to the slaughter." And like you're out there, you're just like, I'm like pointing my gun at things, and it's like, nope, dead. I'm not doing a damn thing.
yeah.
And then there's a Helldrake, and he picks up a statue of a Space Marine and just throws it at the Helldrake. Even Gadriel's just like, oh my god, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
One of those. I'm glad that guy's on our side.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause the Helldrakes are all corrupted dreadnoughts.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
They are corrupted flyers.
2000 and late.
Yep.
Yeah. No, but I think just had to look it up because I remember there's also the Invictor tactical war suit that they should have gotten in because that's like
That would
you're
be cool.
inside of a dreadnought armor thing, but you're still okay.
That would make sense.
That would have been it.
Yeah. Yeah, so the game
DLC.
ends. Main story ends. Everything's good. It's really cool how even Titus says like that Chiron and Gadriel showed him what the Brotherhood is again, how to be with his brothers. And then you get the laurels of victory, which Titus should have got from the first game, but no, he was interred and tortured. But then he's told he's joining Calgar on some sort of mission based upon Chaplain Quintus's suggestion. And then we get to run into Chaplain Quintus, who takes his helmet off. And I was mad at this moment, not because of what happened in the story, but because in a Warhammer setting, they did something that I should have predicted and I did not see coming.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't in your face obvious what was
But
going to
like
be
in
underneath
hindsight,
that
I was
helmet.
like, a fucking course it would be him. It was
Right. Yeah. No, it was.
Leandris from the first game who turned you in.
Yep.
Boy, and that's funny too, because even Titus was like Leandris, and he's mad. He's just like, I want to fucking kill you, but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like what?
That was a good reveal. That was a good reveal.
That was a great reveal, and it makes me very excited, especially since I think the game is obviously we're talking about it. I see a lot of other discussions of the game online. I hope it does well, and that we don't have to wait another 10 plus years for Space Marine 3. So,
yeah,
that'd be awesome. I'm very happy they left it open, and maybe we are going to go fight a higher level threat or something. That
if we're
like
here's the thing.
Votan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to say is, based upon what happened in this game, in the next game, we are for sure seeing Gilliman.
Oh yeah.
Like in person.
Yes.
He's like talking to him at first, and then he'll fight with us at some point. We are sure fighting Gilliman.
Yep.
Or fighting with Gilliman, sorry.
Yeah,
and that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. We'll fight with Gilliman against one of the traitor Primarchs. And there you go. I've already gotten the ending of the next game set up for you.
Oh man, if we have to fight Angron.
No, it would probably be.
No, it'd be one of.
I think they keep the. Do you think they keep the Zinch? No, I don't know if they do the Zinch theme again.
No, because so in the first one, we had
there was corn demons. Yeah,
demons. Now we have Zinch. I think we go Nurgle, and so we fight against Typhus.
There was corn demons, but yeah,
or Mortarion.
But color Mortarion would make sense because there was the big fight between him and Gilliman in the book, which is around this time setting, and the Emperor saves him, which would be cool to see.
That would have been pretty cool.
The only reason why I would say no, the thing is like if they're like, okay, let's do 1 or 2 years of support for this, and then we'll do 3.
Yeah.
The only reason why I would say no for Nurgle is because that's what the other one did. The Fat Shark games that we talked about.
No one's gonna remember that game in like another month. All right.
I will.
You won't.
But so is it that would be my only thing is, and then on top of that, also
the problem is you can't do Slanesh.
I mean, you can do Slanesh.
Too many boobs.
I mean, yeah, no, they gotta
just turn nipples into spikes. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
No. I mean, how cool would it be to fight against Noise Marines, and then you would have what's his face?
I know who you're talking.
The counter of oh man, all names are gone. Baltharius Cool.
Yeah, so you could do the duel against him. Yeah, that could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
There's a lot of ways they could take it, and even if we are just still fighting against Zinch, that'd be okay.
I
think
we're not fighting against Zinch.
Right, since we did Orcs and Chaos, then Tyranids and Chaos. Okay, well, what else we got?
Well, now that
I don't think we're going to do Eldar and Chaos, which could be though.
It really depend on who the bad guy. Like, if this probably will come out when we get a new edition of 40K. So will they tie it to that story again? Will they have to, based upon I don't know what the GW stuff looks like.
Or right, I don't know what that contracts look like. Or
yeah, or can they continue?
I mean,
their
also
own
considering
story?
that if anything, this is closer tied to the 9th edition story.
It's the Tyranid story, true, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is Leviathan, which is the current edition we're in.
Right.
So
I don't know.
Fight the Tau. Go attack all these guys who think that they're gonna shoot you.
Ooh, or we could be Titus could be the one to awaken Lehman Russ. And that's how we find out we're going to
Oh,
get a Leland
boy.
Ross model.
The craziness of Games Workshop being like, you now have the Primarch play beside him in the game. Like,
Yeah, have fun.
not what's going to happen because video games get delayed all the time.
Yeah.
But
It'll be
this
cool.
also did, but it was good.
Yeah,
But it
I'm
did.
curious. I do agree. It's not going to be Zinch, and they could even hand wave past this story into another one. Like
Yes.
he has his adventures with Calgar. Maybe it's a book or like a comic or something. So
Mm-hmm.
there's
Yeah.
plenty of options. But for now, though, what we have to play since we finished that game,
Mhm.
we have operations, which I think we got
Yeah.
through almost half of them as a team, right?
Probably a
Well, we
little
finished-
more than.
No, I think we finished 4.
Yeah, I think we got 4 of the 6 done.
Oh, we did. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, then yeah, we'll probably finish that probably by next week. We'll probably get through because we're getting better. Because that's one thing I will say that I always look at in almost any game, that if it's a good game, from the start I'll be clunky with the controls, and by the end I'm proficient. And
Yeah.
even the like I did a big long like a 4-hour play session to finish the story. Even from hammering that in between our game sessions, I felt so much better whenever we were playing again. I was just like, I got more proficient by playing the game, which is always a good sign of a great game to me.
Right.
But I love the operations.
Yeah.
And like I said, let's talk about it. Matt. Who do you what role do you usually play whenever we're doing operations?
Heavy, definitely heavy. I first started off as, I forget what the role is, because the unit's Blade Guard, right?
Yeah, the unit is
Yeah.
Blade Guard.
This is
There's
what-
a
what the-
bulwark. I think it's called bulwark.
Bulwark.
yeah.
Yes.
That was kind of where I was gonna go because of the utility that it brings, but I'm so bad at parrying that it just
It's okay.
wasn't gonna happen. So whenever you were, because Cole, you were doing heavy originally, and I was like, "Do you mind if I try it?"
Mhm.
Said, "Yep," and then it just kind of clicked. Which, by the way, if you ever want to play it again, it's not
Okay. Yeah.
not my class. So,
It's okay.
but yeah. So I want
Everybody out there is Matt's class. We've locked in.
Not my fault.
No, I'm kidding.
It's not my fault. I'm
Yeah.
good at it. All right.
You are,
Yeah,
you are
there we
very
go.
good at it.
Which is hilarious. I'm like, I'll watch a couple videos and everyone's like, "Oh, the multi-method is the way to go. Bolter's a little underpowered." And like, if I don't have my multi or my heavy bolter, I feel neutered.
Mhm. You do have to rely on the pistol a lot more, it seems like, whenever you're
Yes.
rocking the multi-melta. Yeah.
And then Cole, what did you pick up as your main?
I'm
main
running
class
around
right
with
now.
the main right now is Assault with the jump pack. I mean, I'm going right back to the old Space Marine 1 roots. Unfortunately, I cannot have a plasma pistol in one hand, so it's bolt pistol in one hand, thunder hammer in the other, and we're just going to jump in and tell these guys to shoot everyone that I'm not hitting.
Yeah. Which is great. Or sometimes what happens is like you're about ready to jump in and I've thrown a grenade and I kill.
Yes, and everyone's dead, and then I land there. Yes,
Yeah, that happens a lot.
it
Um,
does. It does.
I went into it. I love the tactical loadout so far. That's what I decided to play. And like I don't want to try anything else right now because I'm like, this is so fun.
Mhm.
Got my Stalker Bolter, which as I got a few upgrades with it, I'm like, last time we were playing, you guys can vouch for it. I'm like, oh my god, this solves every problem I've ever had. Like I'm putting things in execution, like I said, before Cole lands.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Yep.
2 guys are in red, zone throw-ups are no issue, and if I feel spicy, I pull out the Hellblaster and have a good time too.
Yeah.
I wish I could choose not the chainsword. I wish I could do combat knife as well,
Yeah.
just for quicker, because it is what it is.
Yeah, I'd like to see you get addition to like combat knife and the power sword.
Yeah.
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 'Cause I don't think the power sword is that much
No.
stronger.
No,
I
it's
don't
just-
even
I
know
think it's just
what
quicker.
other. Is it just the bulwark that has the power sword option? As far as I'm aware,
Yeah,
because I know assault's the only one where you get the power fist, which those if you are like, but Thunderhammer like me, just mess around with the power fist for one game because. Boy, all the executions are so cool. Whenever you're uppercutting things for the execution, it feels so good.
I haven't seen. Do you grab someone's head and just crush it at all?
You definitely grab a Tyrannid by its upper jaw and wrench it off
Ooh,
with
nice.
just the power fist. It's pretty good.
I mean, my favorite execution so far is still whenever you're killing the or the Thousand Sun Sorcerer, where you parry the
Oh, yeah,
thing
take
and then
his-
you impale him with his
yeah.
own staff. I'm like, that's too good.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's very lore accurate.
That's definitely against the Codex Astartes.
Yes, yes.
Thank God,
Does
thank God
not
for that.
support.
Yeah. But yeah, but what's fun though is I'm glad that the three of us have kind of fallen into a rhythm where we cover each other, because Matt's in the back shooting stuff. I'll pick up some high priority targets. Cole's dealing with the masses of stuff, and then I can also, if Matt's doing fine or Matt gets assaulted from the back, I can just get my chainsword out and just go wreck. So
Right.
it's very fluid and it's very fun how we've done it. I'd be curious if we would all go in at some point and be like, we're all bulwark. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'll do a mission
sure
like
it's
that.
fun,
Why
yeah.
not? Yeah, it'll be
Well,
fun.
unfortunately, at this junction, one class per.
Oh, is it?
per
Uh,
yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
they did say they're going to update and change that.
Okay,
They're going to open that up. So,
They said they'll think about it.
nah, they will. They will.
they will. Enough people will be like, I want the memes, please.
But yeah, and then PvP. I've played PvP. I'm not sure if you guys touched it at all.
No, I haven't touched it.
I haven't yet. I saw somebody playing I watched the other day while I had the stream up for my my free stuff. So
Yep. It's fun.
I'm gonna have to get in there.
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's nothing too amazing. The servers, they said they're working on the servers. There's some issues with it, but I like it. It's fun. I wouldn't say it's anything to write home about, but I enjoy it. I played a lot more in the first game because the PvP was built more. I think this was built more in the operations being in mind as the after game than the PvP. Whereas
Yeah.
the first game you only had the PvP, so it was a little bit more robust from the start. But it's a little more polished. I think the PvP will be just as good.
And very smart that all of the operations missions are just the B team for all the missions you went on in
Yeah.
the story.
Yes, that's true.
Really cool how they tied those together.
And since we're
here
getting
for
more
it.
operations, I bet we'll see hints on something in the future through them.
That'd be
Oh,
cool.
that could be cool. Yeah.
Because there could even be like a DLC where it's like a mini story for Titus too.
Yeah.
We didn't-
Right. It
yeah.
could be that mission or two that he goes off with Calgar, and you're just the B team for that for
Yeah.
operations. Yeah.
Yeah, and with you bringing up that it is the B team, like one of the things I absolutely loved was whenever Titus, first off, that Titus is not the only competent Space Marine in
Yeah.
this game is awesome.
Yes.
The
Yes.
fact that like whether you play as them later or not, he can say go do this, and it gets done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that's all there is to it.
And even whenever communication gets cut off, he's like, they will get it done. And they
Right.
do.
Mhm.
But I love whenever you're going after the Hive Tyrant, and you're like, "Oh, I just dropped a giant statue on a bridge that is 100 feet up, 100 miles up or whatever," and you're like, "Yeah, he's dead." And then you're like, "No, he's not." But like when you're playing through the mission, you get the, "Yeah, he's dead." You're like, "No, he's not."
Right. Yeah.
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 And then you get to go through the sewers and just like chase down Mr. I'm having a bad day. And then
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, I mean, I hope everybody out there has enjoyed our little spoiler cast and our love of Space Marine 2. Real quick, final thoughts, Cole, on Space Marine 2 in general.
In general, great Warhammer game. Good game in general. Great Warhammer game. I think everyone we've talked to, everything I've seen, everyone is just so hyped. By the time you get to those like final 2 hours, you're like, yes, I need some Space Marines. Like, I don't know about the rest of you guys. I dug my Space Marines out of storage to paint because I was like, well, I'm here for it.
Mine are
Like-
painted, but I pulled them out so
Yeah.
they're easier access just in case a game arises.
Right. Exactly.
I will
Exactly.
say, I know some people have said the game is too short, but to me, that campaign is the perfect length.
Right.
Yeah, because
We all
you want to get to the
always want
operations.
things. Yeah. We all always want things to be longer to get to enjoy it more. But if they'd have kept going, it feels like there would have been no point to it. It was short enough that they could give you a twist and a turn and go, here you go. Not, we did a twist, wait 3 hours,
Mhm.
turn, wait 6 hours. Hey, here you go. You had to wait another 10 hours for no
Right.
reason.
True.
Yeah.
Right. If you want a game where you have to collect 47 high gothic ink vials.
Those are elsewhere.
Yeah.
Don't come here.
Keep barking up that tree.
Yeah.
That's
Not happening. I want to do cool shit and see how cool Warhammer is. This game is right for you.
Yeah.
right. All right. So for my final thoughts, I think we need to get a change petition going to have these guys start doing a Age of Sigmar game in the exact same genre.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
100%. Yeah, let this studio do it. Big thing, GW, stop giving out your IP like Candy, the video game companies, and just, these guys did awesome. They get to have it for as long as they want to.
Right.
Yes. Let them enjoy it.
Back on some of these god awful cell phone games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, just like, and again, like the way I think about it with like an AOS game, there's so many factions that it could work for. Assuming they would go with order, you can easily see Stormcast, KO, Fire Slayers, Cities of Sigmar.
Oh yeah.
Lumineth.
Yeah, and it's you could play like I'd see the intro sequences. You're at Hammer Hall, Aksha, and you're just a line troop for the Cities of Sigmar, like normal human. And as you're fighting and it gets desperate, the Stormcast come in. You're like, oh my god, what are the Stormcasts? And then it switches. And you start playing a Stormcast, and then the Stormcast starts doing stuff, and you encounter different factions along the way. And it doesn't have to be all of them. If you're out there and you're game developing, I don't need you to hot press through every single faction in Age of Sigmar. You can pick like 2. Oh, we're using the KO because we got to be on a ship. Okay, cool. And maybe there's a Lumineth. That's it. And that's fine. I don't need all of them.
I guarantee you in this game, if you if it is Cities of Sigmar and you're forced to be human, you're dying before the last stage and you're coming back as a Stormcast.
That's exactly what I thought too. Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be cool. Well, yeah, I absolutely love this game. It's energized me to play 40K, which is amazing because 40K has not energized me to play 40K.
Yeah.
But this game has.
Makes me wonder about Kill Team, man.
I will see. The new edition's coming out. I like my army games, but more than Skirmish. But anyway, it's a great game. Obviously, if you've listened this whole way through, you've probably played it or you didn't care about spoilers. But go play it. It's a great game. And I don't know about you boys, but it's only 9 p.m. We could wrap this up and we can go play some Space Marine right now if you're free.
There we go.
All right, well, I'll see you guys. Everybody else, have a great week. Stay Stormcast strong. Happy hobbying. Matt, Cole, I'll see you on Steam in a few minutes.
Let's go, brothers.